There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonko table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonko table, the table that will make their dreams come true. Yo, everyone. That is the voice of your Yonko host, DrJaceAttorney. And you read the title of this pod correct, folks. We are having our second helping of God of War Ragnarok. But this time it's a little bit different. If you guys tuned in on our last pod for God of War Ragnarok, we were giving you our expectations and kind of like a retrospective of the series. What were our expectations going in? How did we become fans of God of War? And what did Ragnarok really need to do for us as a sequel to God of War 2018? I think that was a game that a lot of us here enjoyed, and it set very, very high expectations going into the squeakquel to God of War 2018. But now, this time, everyone here, we finished God of War Ragnarok, the main story mostly. I know some of us are all over the place in terms of side content, but the main story beats, we're done. And we got a lot to say about it. We got a lot to say about Ragnarok, the gameplay, the story, the characters. Oh, man. What a ride. What a ride. But before we dive in, with me, as always, is fellow Yonko Grandmaster. Grandmaster, did this fix your Arkham obsession? Were you able to just dive into Ragnarok and just enjoy it from beginning to end? No breaks, no nothing, just bam. Here I am, Kratos and Atreus.
I wish you didn't bring up Arkham and all that. I don't think anyone buys into that. Yes, I was easily able to dive in without breaks. I mean, the most breaks I did was like a 4-day break. Very engaging, very hard to not want to stop. It's just an excellent story, excellent game, well worth the wait, and dare I say it delivers on all fronts. So extremely satisfied with the final product. So that's where I stand.
Okay. Fair enough. But we are not alone in this endeavor today. We have fellow supernovas and admirals alike to join us on this deep dive of God of War Ragnarok. And let's get into it. So I guess we can, preface this at the beginning. Overall thoughts, what did you guys think about Ragnarok as a whole? Did it live up to the original God of War 2018? Where do you think it stands with the rest of the series? And is it fitting as a conclusion overall to the Norse saga of God of War?
Yeah, for me, I was going to say that it was my original kind of playthrough of God of War 2018. Like, I enjoyed it. Thought the gameplay was fun. I thought it was kind of cool how you're able to like customize Kratos. And then the moment when he gets the chains, I hope that's not a spoiler for anybody.
Oh no, this is
5 years later.
The spoiler ban is lifted. This is all spoilers.
And this is the sequel to that game where that was revealed.
Yeah, so like the moment when he gets the chains, I mean, like I think for a lot of people, mind blowing. So I kind of went in with this game. I was like, I want at least one more moment where they like have like a chain kind of reveal, something like that blows my mind. That's like leans into the gameplay. And to be honest, they didn't quite have that, but they had so much more like smaller moments overall that I think like I do put this above. I think it lived up to the hype. I was like definitely impressed. And I think what I was most impressed by was none other than, I know we're going to get into it, was our man, Atreus.
Ooh.
I thought he was fine in the first game, borderline annoying.
Annoying. How dare put some respect on Atreus. What?
This game, loved him. He's the background for a reason.
Okay.
So,
okay.
They really came through with Atreus, and I was really impressed with that.
Fair enough. Dr. Mondo, and overall thoughts?
Like, as a huge fan of the God of War series, even before the 2018 and extraordinary game that was 2018 that just like set the bar so high that you would think you can't get better than this. 2018 God of War was a work of art, and Santa Monica Studio delivered. Like, Santa Monica Studio gave us Ragnarok, which is just, it did what I thought was impossible, which was not only be at the same level, like surpass it. It made like a breathtaking story, amazing characters. You could feel for all the different characters in the game, not to mention the visuals, the gameplay themselves, and obviously like the side content, and even the gory epicness that goes with God of War. Everything. Really can't wait to talk more about it. I'm very excited.
Yeah, just to shout out Santa Monica really quick too. They delivered it on time. Like, there was like no delay. It was like 2022.
There was one delay. It
There was
was
one
supposed
delay?
to come out last year. It was supposed to come out
Okay.
last year. But that was the
feels
only
like
one. That was the
nowadays-
only one.
It feels like nowadays everything's getting pushed back like 2 to 3 years, 2 to 3 times. We've been waiting
Right.
for Breath of the Wild forever, and it just
Right.
felt like, I think early on this year, the thought was like, there's no way Ragnarok's being finished by.
I
November.
honestly thought it was not coming out this year. I
There's, like, no
really thought it
chance.
wasn't.
And then they did, and they delivered, which was really impressive.
Yeah, like nothing. I mean, I agree with all of your points. Like, this game had so much on its shoulders coming in, and there was a fear that, with a game that's trying to wrap up or be the conclusive chapter in a saga, there's a lot of expectations going in, and for a lot of game franchises, regardless of how much quality the games before it may have, sometimes the final chapter is kind of lackluster. But I feel like with God of War, they've really hit it. I mean, like, even going back into the Greek mythos during the Greek times, leading up to God of War 3, God of War 3 was supposed to be the last one. It finished the story, and God of War 3 delivered. It delivered on all fronts. And then going into this one with Ragnarok, I feel like it's the same thing. Something about Santa Monica Studios, they know how to do conclusive chapters to their stories. I mean, they've done it twice. They're 2 for 2. Gameplay in Ragnarok, fantastic. Just story, fantastic. The characters, and I can't wait to get into Atreus. Atreus was a key factor in enjoying this game as much as I did.
Huge.
Easily.
Huge.
But of course, we pick up in this game right where the last one left off. The prophesized Ragnarok. It's here, and what are we doing? We're trying to avoid it. We're trying to just ignore it, kind of brush it under the rug, try and make sure that we have nothing to do with it.
Well, Kratos is like, let's not worry about it. It's a Fimbulwinter, I think it's called, and it's like,
No.
they're like,
Well,
go ahead.
Fimbulwinter Ragnarok comes at the end of Fimbulwinter.
got you. So, things are bad. It's really cold in Midgar. Things are not looking great, and Kratos is like, let's just sit tight, And little does he know that our boy Atreus is not sitting as tight as I think Kratos thinks he is, which I think was a good opening.
Yeah, that intro, I mean, I do want to talk about the intro. That intro was just fantastic. It set the tone perfectly. I mean, I'm a sucker for games where you're at the main menu and you see your main character just kind of standing around doing whatever. And then when you click start or new game, the scene transitions into the actual scene that transpires. I don't know. For me, that's cinema. That's peak cinema, right?
It's great. And I just feel
No,
those moments, and I'll just be real quick. Those moments, I mean, like when I'm starting up a new game and like those moments happen, like usually when I'm like, oh, this is a bigger one, I'm going to be invested. Like that first night, like I'm waiting for like a Friday night where I have nothing to go on the next day. Get myself a bottle of wine. Like I'm sipping something nice. I'm getting like in a good mood.
You're getting in the mood. I like it.
It takes me in, and it does take me in. This game did a great job of that. So
No, like going in with that, like when the game just like jumps into whatever scene you see in the main menu, it's like it just makes you feel as though this isn't a game, it's a movie or something else, an experience where you're just living it. It's right there in front of you. And one thing that I loved from the first, like God of War 2018, they continued it on here. I just love that it's all one shot.
Yes.
I just love, absolutely love, no cutting. It's just like everything leads into this. And like every door you open, another room, everything is just one shot. It's like you're there. No cutscenes, no loading screen.
Right.
Just there.
I think that's oh, go ahead.
Oh, I think everything, well, I feel, it is a game, right? But I feel everything God of War is centered around the story first. I think all hands were on deck for the story, and then they said, let's build a game around this story. And, one shot, being one whole shot, it's like, and, the start menu going straight into the opening sequence. It's like we need to deliver on the story front. And, being a decade-long series and, them upping the ante every time, they said we need to deliver a story that, does good by, 2018 God of War, but for the franchise overall. And I think this game just does so well by the story and the characters that everything else comes second for me. And I feel that should be the overall consensus.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think like the story is really immersive, and it's not like you're at hour 20 and you're like, oh, is it still one shot? Oh yeah, it is. It's still good. It's like, it's kind of like, it's like used as a way to like immerse yourself. It's like you eventually like forget about it. You're just kind of like in the world, and it's like not cutting, and it's just like so cool. And it's all, I think, as you're saying, it's all to enhance the story. It's like as much as like it's like fun to, I don't know if we're ready to get into this, like play as other characters, like it's so important for the story to play. I'll just say it, to play as Atreus. Like it's so much important for how you feel about him as a character and like your relationship to him, to really get behind kind of like his head in terms of the camera and play as him. And it's like the gameplay is complementing the story in that way.
And I mean, since we already talked about Atreus so much already,
It's so great.
like it is
stop.
great. No, it's good because, like, again, that key point of how engaging the story is because of that one camera shot, right? And I find it very interesting that, in the last game, it was one camera shot the entire game from the perspective of Kratos. You never transition to like Atreus or Freya or any other character. But in this scene, they even up the ante a little bit. Whenever they transition to Atreus, they find this very fluid way to kind of shift the focus, and it's so natural. I know Grandmaster Hoop mentioned it when he got to that point when he was trying to tell us where he was at in the game. The punching of the wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was genius. It didn't pull me out. It didn't, because that was one thing I was wondering how they were going to handle that. Once the two get split up and they're in two different realms, I'm like, wait, so how are we going to follow them without cutting away like the immersion by cutting away the transition scene? But they found a way.
Actually, that's peak cinema scene right there.
Peak cinema. Martin Scorsese,
my father taught me how to focus.
He's oozing right now.
I was like, Atreus, you're gonna hurt yourself. You gotta stop, my guy. And then Kratos' hand comes in. I was like, oh shit. That scene was nice.
Yeah. It was good. It was good. I think that actually happened in reverse, wasn't it?
It's Kratos first, and then Atreus.
And then it goes to Atreus, and then I was thinking Atreus. Come on, bro, you're not Kratos.
But so you see,
oh my god,
it makes so much sense. I mean, we already said you play as Atreus, and this is why I think this game does so well by the franchise. Is that in God of War 2018, it is really, Kratos accepting his role as the sole parent, trying to break from his ways of, being, the god killer, the ghost of Sparta and whatnot. And you watch them, grow together. You watch Atreus grow from boy to Atreus, And at the start of this game, we pick up right where we left off. As you said, Atreus and Kratos are great. They got a great, healthy little bond going on. But at the same time, as we talked about this before too, Dr. Jace, you said, what's his name? The writer, the head guy,
Corey Balrog.
Corey Balrog based this on, he just had his child, right?
Right. Yes. Yep.
This is just continuing the story of a father and a son,
right?
With the son, in his, teenage years, his growing pains.
Yeah, it's like Kratos is learning. It's like that Atreus is growing up. Atreus is becoming his own person. He's not that little kid that was with like in the first game.
Right.
Completely dependent on Kratos.
He's no longer a boy.
No longer a boy.
Well, he's not really Atreus anymore too, because that's the whole thing he's trying to discover is
his identity.
Who is Loki?
Who is Loki?
And
Are
so
we bound by
sense.
destiny or fate?
Can we break fate, or do we is it all written, or do we do what is it fate, or is it that we do what is necessary? Big questions brought up throughout the whole game, but
I feel also uncharted territory for Kratos, because if we go with the God of War mythos, like Kratos did have a daughter,
yes,
but never got to the period where she was in her teenage years growing up. She we all know the tragic story there. So this is like a whole uncharted territory for Kratos, and we see that Kratos is kind of afraid as well, throughout the entire of letting Loki, Atreus, however you want to call him, go, let him be himself. And it's kind of a growing process for Kratos as well throughout the game.
It is great for both of them. It plays so well off of each other. Just as you said, you take it all the way back to 2005 God of War. This is a continued story. This is him as don't be sorry, be better.
Ooh, I love it.
Man.
I love it. Yeah.
It's layered. It's so layered.
Onion.
And it's great.
Like an onion.
Right.
I agree. It's like the pacing of the story with the different beats that they cover is really phenomenal. Like, I like how they waste zero time in this intro by just setting the stage. It's like you said, Fimbulwinter is already active. It follows from when Baldur got his neck snapped in the last God of War game, and Freya is still on the hunt for Kratos and Atreus. She's still mad as hell. Misdirection of anger, but still justified in it nonetheless. And I don't know if you guys remember that secret ending from God of War 2018 when you go back to the house and Kratos has that dream of some cloaked figure with a hammer showing up at their front door, and it's like
lightning coming down. Yep.
Yes, and it's like, so and in my head I'm thinking, starting up Ragnarok, that's not gonna happen until 3-4 hours in, maybe at the halfway point of the game. They waste no time. I think you fight Thor, the god of thunder, in the first hour.
Let's talk about this moment. This is a key, pivotal,
iconic,
sets the tone.
Iconic. I love it.
Epic.
What? Thor shows up.
No, it's not only that Thor shows up. He shows up, with offering peace. He's like, I got mead. And then
may I come in?
Right. And the door closes and you think, okay, it's just he's pouring the mead. He puts his hammer down. He puts his axe down.
How intimidating is this guy?
And then on top of that, no more than 30 seconds later, Odin is at the door. Who would have thought you would meet Odin this early as well?
I thought he was going to be safe for the end. I thought he would be that, kind of like how he was in 2018. You heard of Odin, but you never once saw Odin in God of War 2018. You would hear about his misdeeds and all the crazy things he would do. I thought at the very least, maybe the halfway point, we'll see Odin. Maybe.
Yeah.
But given that this is the conclusion, I mean, I think they made the right choice showing him this early. there's our main villain. We have our stakes now.
Yeah, it's like they wasted no time, and you think to yourself, like, oh man, like maybe they brought this too early. What other moments are they going to bring to the table later on? And they kept delivering. You know, it wasn't like that you got everything over
really early just to make you feel a little bit for Odin, his way with words, and you're like, you start listening to Odin, and you're like, wait, what? I thought you were.
He has a charm. Dude. He has a charm.
I thought you were this evil dude, but your words sound good and make sense.
What's Mimir say? Mimir says, "Don't trust him. Don't trust him, brother. He's a liar. All he does is lie."
Oh, he says, if he tells you the sky is blue, it's a lie. Craziness. Oh my God. It's just, they definitely set the tone for what to expect from both characters. You get it with Odin, you get it with Thor, and, you know, I'm honestly surprised at how Kratos kind of just shuts them down. You know, Odin proposes this deal. He's like, hey, Loki, your boy Atreus, he's, you know, poking his nose in where he's not allowed to. If you guys agree to stop that, we'll have peace.
And no more spilling of Aesir blood. That's
and he even says, I'll talk to Freya. I'll convince her, like, for not to kill you guys. Like, you know, like, it's like, wait, what the hell? What, this is a curveball that I didn't expect. And yeah, like Kratos is just like, no, screw you. I don't want peace.
He says, I just like the delivery. He says, so what do you say? He says, no. That's it. He just said straight up, no.
But it makes sense. Kratos has been at the mercy and the whim of the head honcho in the pantheon before. You know, they can't ever be trusted. They always got ulterior motives, and he will not be, as he says, on the end of the noose, the chain. You know, he's not a lapdog,
right?
Anymore.
Yeah.
He doesn't want war, but he's not gonna do it at the cost of sacrificing himself and his kids' freedom to do as they please.
And, you know, Kratos doesn't come across as like, you know, he's not Mimir. He's not like running through all the things Odin could be tricking him about, like in his head. It's like he does have experiences with these top gods. He's instinctually knows not to trust them. So he's just like, nah, I don't need to hear you out. I don't need to hear anymore. I'm just not going to trust you, especially with my son.
Exactly.
And also there's the degree of fear to us, and fear and respect that Odin feels for Kratos. It's like so quick to look for peace. Of course, you know who this guy is that destroyed and killed an entire pantheon of gods because they got on his wrong side. So even though like Odin is very crafty, he's smart, he's a tactician and powerful in his own right, there's still a degree of fear, like right in the beginning, saying,
right,
like, hey, peace, I don't want you to kill me. What the hell?
It's the way he speaks, his tone, his charm, his mannerisms. It's what you need to do to be who you are as Odin, as the king of the Aesir, the All Father, as they call him. And then that scene wraps up, and we get into the next big thing.
What's he say? About time, or something, or finally.
He just says, Odin walks by Thor, and he's like, "Don't take too long." And
oh bam! Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Bam! Straight through the roof, and
going all the way to Tyr's temple.
Going all the way to Tyr's temple, and let me tell you, every God of War game is defined by its first intro boss. Every single one. God of War 1, the Hydra battle. You don't forget it. God of War 2, the Colossus of Rhodes. You don't forget it. God of War 3, Poseidon. God of War 2018, the Baldur fight at the house. Amazing first intro. And what do we have here? Thor versus Kratos right out the gate. This fight was amazing. This was peak. This was
No,
peak.
like, yeah, it was amazing. And the scene where literally Kratos dies.
He died.
And
Oh my God.
brings him back with me.
So, oh no, I'm not done with you yet.
Hideo
Great
Kojima
moment.
style of
Okay.
just weird as hell.
So
fourth
great.
wall breaking.
Just to pause there, like, so we've been talking about how immersive it's been and how cinematic it feels. They like nail that. But like, there are like moments where they're like, nudge, nudge, we are a video game, and it's like, when you think you're dead and like,
You think
Thor
you
brings
actually
him back.
died?
yeah, he like hits you with, that's only can happen in a video game. That can't, you're not going
It
to
goes to the game over menu.
It gives you the
Yeah.
tips at the end, like, recover HP by pressing this button.
So great. There are like multiple moments like that. And I'll just say the other one when like Atreus like punches the treasure chest, like he's
Wow.
Kratos for the first time.
Oh yes,
Killed me.
perfect.
Died right there. It was like, ow!
Perfect.
He like shakes his hand.
You're
So
not
good,
there
so
yet.
good.
And it's
So good,
it's
so
funny.
good.
It's
Yeah.
so good. I mean, the boss fight was amazing. Great intro, and there's a level of detail that I think is even still being discovered today. Because recently they released a photo mode in the game as a free update for Ragnarok, and people discovered that during the fight when I think when Kratos punches Thor in the face, Thor gets a tooth knocked loose,
Yeah.
and he pulls it out of his
Yes.
mouth and he flicks it away. In photo mode, you can literally zoom in on the floor and see the tooth that was spit out by Thor. They didn't have to do that. They did
Beautiful.
not have to do that. So unnecessary, but so appreciated.
It's just, again, attention to detail. You notice the moment he hits him with the Leviathan axe, that scar is there for the rest of the game.
Oh, he feels it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's like, it's an open wound. It's just he's a god, so it's like if it's not the killing blow, I guess they live.
Aim for the head.
Aim for the head. Another Thor reference
Oh,
to a different Thor. Yeah.
Ooh.
But
Okay.
definitely great opening battle and just really sets the tone. Thor drops the line. He's like, "You think you can come here, become a daddy, and get a clean slate? I want the ghost of Sparta. Where's the real god of war?" And it's like, that's a juggling theme for the rest of the game.
Yes.
Like, it's like the Kratos being who he is now, like what he's in a way fought so hard to leave behind or go back to being the monster that he was in the past for, the greater good or something like that. And he's constantly juggling that decision. It's like, and throughout the entire game, they do such a good job when it comes to that.
And mind you, this whole game shows you differing parenting ideologies, and it's also done very well. You have Kratos, you have Thor, seeking, what is it? Blood passage or something? Blood tribute for killing of his sons.
Right.
You have Odin, you have Freya. A lot of it is very good. Oh, Angrboda and her grandmother.
Angrboda.
And she has a
Yeah.
relationship with her parents. They kind of hint at it. They don't make an appearance, but
That's another big thing that works really well as far as the characters and their perspectives on who these
yeah.
characters
Did you say
are.
Thrud? Did you say Thrud? And her parents?
I said Thor as far as because
Yeah.
Thor,
Like his family.
yes,
Yeah.
and with that said, Sif as well.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, it's a great parallel that I think is a central component to the overall character interactions and story. And it starts right here.
But this story, of course, is not just the story of Kratos. I know we're focusing a lot on the craziness with Kratos and him saying no to Odin and Thor smacking him out of his own house with Mjolnir. But this is still the story of Atreus as well. Let me ask you this, because I think this is a unique perspective. Were you guys surprised when it switched over to Atreus?
100%.
100%, because
Yep.
this was not revealed in any like pre-release of the game. This was kept very close to secret.
They did such a good job not revealing this.
I don't know how it wasn't leaked.
I
don't know
remember there
how-
was rumors. Yeah, it wasn't leaked for sure, but there was like kind of speculation that like, hey, you know, maybe
Right.
Kratos will die in this one, and you play as Atreus. So I remember
Right.
that circling, but when I got to that moment, like blissfully surprised, like so happy. I was like, let's go, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me
That's
let me
great.
tell you, when that moment happened, I remember I was talking to Dr. Jace and I was like, it just feels like 2018 God of War. I feel like nothing at that point felt so new. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, we got the blades this early too. Oh, I'm just picking up where literally God of War 2018 ended, and this is an extended like DLC and whatnot.
Right, right.
That moment hits and everything changed. From there, I was like, this is something special.
This is the squeakquel that you
I
anticipated.
think it went from like 9 to 10 for me. It's like, all right, like this is gonna be a 9 game, and then once as soon as like it changed to Atreus's perspective, I was like, oh, they're doing stuff. They're trying things. They're not just like resting on what God of War 2018 did well. They're going to be trying things in this game. And so,
and they could have done that too. I remember Grandmaster Hoop and I kind of talked about it in our God of War retrospective and what we expected in Ragnarok. There was kind of an expectation on, are we going to play as Atreus? We weren't sure if they were going to go all in and let us play as him as a separate character, or maybe if Kratos dies at the end, we switch over to playing as him. But surprisingly, Santa Monica Studios, they went all in. They gave Atreus, and this is the cool thing about this too. It's not just some one-off like, oh, Atreus has like maybe 1 or 2 combo moves, and it's you play as him for like maybe 1 hour at a time. Atreus has a full skill set, not as intricate as Kratos, but still, this is a new character with his own moves, his own animations, his own kit. I think this was
his
really
own
crazy.
his own like a break, his own like R3 L3 move.
Yeah.
the rage, his rage.
His own
The,
rage.
the
Great.
transformations.
Yeah, great.
Oh,
great.
let's talk about the transformations. I feel that was another huge moment. I was like,
Very big.
oh shit, the bear.
The bear, right? Oh,
Yeah.
when they revealed who the bear was when he ran off.
Yes.
Very
pretty
big.
big.
Very, very big. There was always that assumption of, because in Norse mythology, Loki is a trickster. He can transform into different animals, and there was a question going into Ragnarok: is Atreus going to get some of those abilities?
Actually, I just watched this like video on 2018 God of War when Kratos tells him that we're gods, boy. It's in my blood and it's in your blood. Atreus's first question about his godhood is, can I turn into animals? And
Pretty good.
I think
Fitting.
Kratos says,
What?
I think he says, I don't know. But it's such a good Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Like, I forgot he ever said that. All we remember is that, Atreus was running wild after he found out he was a god. Here we now see, his emotional state, his godhood manifests in different ways. The
Right.
bear, is triggered by frustration, anger.
Rage.
The
Rage.
mix of that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In the Ironwoods, is that the first time he turns into the wolf?
I think-
yes.
Yes.
I think
In
Right.
the
yes.
Ironwoods.
Right.
And I don't know what that one's triggered by, but he's a growing boy, and we see, a young adolescence, and throughout the game, it triggers, everything in the game, everything that happens in this game, and Kratos points it out in the story too. It was based on really Atreus's decisions,
Right. Right.
whether they thought it was going to turn out good or bad. Atreus runs the plot of this game.
Yes.
Easily.
Yeah.
You take Atreus out, you do not have the same story whatsoever. It's not. And I think that's part of the charm with Atreus, because I mean, we've been saying this the entire time. He's growing. He's getting into adolescence, and I think part of that is why his growth kind of pushes him in the direction that he goes in. He's wandering off, doing all these crazy things without his dad's permission, seeking the answers that his dad won't give him. Because 2018 Atreus was not gonna do stuff like this.
No, it's like 2018 not. Atreus is again, he's the little kid that he's looking for his father's approval most of everything. That's like the Atreus,
his distant father.
A distant father. He's looking for his approval. He wants his father to be proud of him. Here is an Atreus that's like, okay, like my father's proud of me, but I want to be my own person. I want to explore the world. I want to know things that my father won't tell me or whatever. Like, he wants to be his own person. There's no more, I want my dad to be proud of me. No, that doesn't even come into effect anymore. And it's also the rebellious nature that he's a teenager.
Very, very rebellious.
Right, very
rebellious teenager.
But again, it's such beautiful storytelling.
Yeah,
he is rebellious because Kratos, doesn't trust him. But that distrust stems from Kratos just wanting to protect Atreus.
Also like it's one of Kratos's like flaws from his past, that he himself, like, he's learning little by little throughout the story to grow, like, and get past that, be better. That's like the entire premise with Kratos in this. Again, he wants to be better, but he still has these tendencies from his old ways. And like, even though the reason he's doing it, it's for something positive. Again, all he wants is just to protect Atreus. He doesn't care if he dies. He doesn't care about prophecy. What matters to him is that Atreus lives. That's all. Mm-hmm. That's all that passes through his head throughout the entire story. And
that's another beautiful juxtaposition, because all Atreus is trying to do
is save him.
Right?
Well, he doesn't learn that until much later, though.
So
first it's just to stop Ragnarok, right?
Well, so here at the end of 2018, Kratos sees the portrait,
the shrine, right?
But Atreus doesn't see that portrait,
right?
He doesn't see it, right? He doesn't see it. It's not until, I believe,
the Ironwoods.
The Ironwoods.
Yes. The Ironwoods.
Beautiful sequence. The Ironwoods.
We're ready to talk about the Ironwoods?
We can talk about the Ironwoods. We're talking about Atreus.
I feel like you want to talk about someone specific from the Ironwoods.
I just like to point out.
Yeah.
By the end of the game, I was like, "You better kiss that boy or kiss him."
No, like
kiss.
Yes.
No, there's a funny sequence that happens. Like, if you complete the game,
really?
You go to Jotunheim, like, and you find Angerboda. This is, and Kratos meets.
I know what you're talking about. I know.
And then he's like,
"Oh, I don't know if I want to hear it."
She just
too late.
She just starts talking.
No. I'm intrigued.
She just starts talking, and Kratos is like, "I like her."
It's a very funny exchange. It's a very funny exchange. You just need to beat the story and go to Jotunheim and visit.
That's all you need to do.
Okay, I might do that tonight.
It's a very funny exchange.
Jotunheim's not even open for me.
Yes, it is. Go see Ratatasker.
Go there.
Go see Ratatasker.
Go see Ratatasker. Okay.
Because after you beat the story, he says, Ragnarok resulted in more seeds, so now you can go explore all the other realms.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Right.
So go back, and it's a little exchange, just something nice. There's literally nothing else
to do. It's a really funny
over
exchange.
there.
I'll take it. Angerboda, welcome addition to the cast.
I mean, so good. And I mean, like, we've been talking about, like, Atreus's growth, and it's like, I think it's portrayed both in the gameplay, like, he's gaining new abilities as the story goes on. And, like, he does learn a lot about trust, like, in terms of, like, trusting his father. Not to get ahead, but, like, like, the whole thing with Tyr, it's like he's growing in, like, those ways too. But then also, and kind of like a Disney Channel original movie way, my man starts, like, getting a little crush, and it's so cute, and it's so soft and so genuine. and Angerboda's like voice actor, they both are. I think they nailed it. I think the animation was
she's
super
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, hold up.
cute. So good.
Let's put some respect on her name real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Leia de Leon's Hayes is Angerboda.
Okay.
And
The way
our
she
boy,
teases him, the way she beats him in a race,
yes,
it's just like
it's very flirtatious. This whole thing.
Very. You race
and
her as a
much this
wolf.
game-
That's
Mind
cool.
as much as this game is, axe
Mind you-
slashing and blade sorting, it's to have this nice moment with Atreus, like being a kid, having a crush. Like I was blown away by this like whole section.
I think
thought
that
it
was
fantastic.
I think that's what made the Ironwood so good, because it was, Jotunheim, it's very difficult to get into Jotunheim. It's literally separated from all the war and chaos from all the other realms. So you get this isolation, like you said, where Atreus here can just really not worry about the hellscape, fighting demons from
escape.
hell and everything. It's an escape. It's literally an escape. He can be a kid here. He still has a goal coming here, but there's a balance. He can be
and
himself.
he can be like he can be at that point in the story, it's always the wrestling between Atreus Loki.
Yes.
Kratos is always saying like, you're Atreus, you're not Loki, like, or at least portrays it that way.
No, he does. It's very much
like,
that.
and here in the Ironwoods, it's like, here we see Loki, we don't see Atreus. It's like we see
Loki.
Loki
Him juggle it though. We see him.
It's we see him juggle it, but here he can be Loki without a care in the world. He
almost embraces it. He embraces it too, because like Angerboda even says, "You're Loki."
Giants.
You're Loki, and he's like, "Yeah,
Well,
I'm Loki."
that's exactly why. Is because, as much as Kratos wants to protect him, it's Loki who is prophesized.
Exactly.
Kratos can't teach him about giants. Angerboda is the only other living
giant
Jotnar people, right?
Yeah.
So that's why he's gonna embrace it. But then we have the ending of the Ironwoods, which, the marbles. The marbles are a huge thing.
And
the souls of the giants.
The scene that happens there.
Yeah.
Real
with the snake. Are you talking about with the snake?
Mythologically speaking.
Yes, yeah.
That is a huge scene. Because
you want to explain it? Go ahead.
Is it?
Yeah.
Explain.
So if we go to Norse mythology, like OG Norse mythology,
okay,
the three children of Loki and Angerboda.
Oh, I didn't know it was Angerboda. I thought it was just Loki.
And Angerboda are Fenrir, Jormungandr, or the Midgard serpent,
right? The giant snake,
and Hel, the goddess, the god of death.
Yes.
So
interesting.
And that's like the OG Norse mythology. Jormungandr and Loki go hand in hand. So, and this goes to the first game where Jormungandr sees for the first time, like when we're introduced the Midgard serpent, and he sees Atreus, and it's like, oh, I've seen you before. And Loki and Atreus, it's like, what the hell? Like I've never.
I think it's Mimir. Mimir's like, he says you look familiar to him.
You look familiar, and it's because of that.
With all that, Dr. Mondo, that you said, I was like, there seems to be the Ironwoods is so, as we said, so far from everything. It's almost an element of time travel.
Yeah.
Which,
and
at the conclusion of the game.
And not only that, in the final scene of the entire like the story, where you see Thor and Jormungandr fighting. And this is actually like Mimir. If you play the game after Mimir, when you're like cruising through with the like dogs, that kind of stuff, where he starts like spouting off his story.
Yeah,
such a nice touch. I love that shit.
Like, which is great. I freaking love that.
Yeah,
Mimir talks about this and explains this all to you. So and this actually goes a little bit with OG Norse mythology, where it's like Thor and the Midgard serpent are nemesis, and they fight. And Thor hits the Midgard serpent so hard that he sends him through space and time, back in time. So when in the final scene of the game, of the story, when they're fighting there in Asgard, that Thor bumps Jormungandr, he's sending him back in time.
Damn.
To when Atreus does the snake.
Puts the soul into the
Puts the
snake.
soul.
Mm.
So
Ooh.
everything is connected. And there's certain
like
scenes
it.
in the movie. Well, this is almost like a movie, right? So
It
in
is.
the game where Angerboda says like, "Oh yeah, that snake, it's growing really, really fast."
Yeah. Mhm.
They say, and
Oh,
it's
she
like,
does. She does
She
say
says
that.
that. Yep.
that.
She says that.
this
Yep.
snake is growing. You know that snake you put it? It's growing super, super fast. And you're like, oh damn. Like
That's nice.
it's like they tied in the original mythology, obviously with director's freedom and all that, but they did such a great job. And even with Fenrir, they did a great job when it came to that.
Oh,
We love
Ooh.
Fenrir.
yeah. That was
That
that was
section.
pivotal.
That was
that
pivotal.
section
That
of the
was
game.
amazing. Because
it
I think that's my favorite section of the game.
The
Going through Helheim and fighting
with Garm.
the
You talking about with Garm?
fighting
Garm. Whew. Garm.
Good
Like-
sequence.
Great sequence and an amazing boss fight. I mean, like, one, so I'm like not too familiar with like the OG God of Wars.
it was
And one of
very
my kind of-
similar.
And so one of my kind of expectations / disappointments about 2018 was like the lack of gigantic bosses. I remember hearing about the OG God of Wars where you like fight titans, like
There's
the
a lot,
size of
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
And so in 2018, I was like hoping for like something really big. You did have like a dragon and like some snow areas, and that was
Right.
cool. But I was hoping for more, and bigger. And like, so they did that. You fought Angerboda's grandmother. She was
wow,
big.
they had a lot.
They
you
did.
had
They did.
you had the guy that was protecting what's her name's kind of bond.
Oh, Niflagog.
The from Idrisil, the guardian.
protects the Idrisil roots.
Oh yeah.
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 I think it's
He was-
Needhog.
he was
Needhog?
big.
Nidhogg.
He was
Nidhogg.
tough.
There
Nidhogg.
it is. Yeah.
That
He
one
was
was
big and
nice. Right.
Garm though,
right.
Garm was so intense, and like it gave you so much like room to play. Like I was like running around trying to like set myself up. You had to like throw the spear. You had to do so much stuff to like take him down. And then he has another form. It's just like you think you beat him, and then like
He's
you're
back,
running around.
baby.
Oh, that
Helheim,
was
and he's back.
that was
You know?
great. I definitely felt I was like, damn man, I really wish Atreus was gonna be able to tame him.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
Yes.
built it up as if he could have.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
then he's like, we're doing it my way. You kill
Yeah.
him, you're about to be gone. And what I think what's so great about that sequence is, I love those sequences where you're like actively running away from the camera or running towards the camera, and chaos is surrounding you, and real-time action, you have to strike something at the right time.
Kind of like
There's-
Uncharted a little bit.
Very Uncharted like I think we get 2 of those sequences in this game. This one with Garm, and the other one you're carrying Freyr on your back
Oh, in Vanaheim.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Vanaheim.
right.
I love sequences like that, and
They're really good.
it culminates great because we actually Atreus gets to do what he sought, well, differently. He tames Garm, but because he inserts Fenrir's soul.
which
into-
which ties in pretty well with mythology. Granted, like because Fenrir is actually he's in a way like the end of the gods in the real Norse mythology. Like they chain him, and he is practically the end of the gods and has a huge role to play in Ragnarok.
which he
Right.
did. I mean, he was there
He did.
cutting
He
through
He was a
portals
pivotal
and-
character.
They changed it here, but like it was so well made. They fit all the points of Norse mythology. They just fit them in here and made it into a very personal and beautiful story.
Let me just say, Santa Monica Studios, one thing they get right, they hire experts on Norse mythology.
Yeah.
And every time, playing this game, you listen to, as we said, Mimir's like little stories
Which I
and
freaking
whatnot.
love.
There's so much accuracy to
Yes.
everything that they say. Like when playing this game, I'm like, yo, bump Marvel's Thor. I don't think they got anything right.
I mean, honestly, sometimes I'll be sailing in the boat and I want to get to the island that I'm literally standing.
But you want Mimir to
you
finish
stay
the
for the
story.
I want
story.
him to finish. I'm like, God, hurry up, Mimir. Finish
Right,
your damn
'cause
story.
Kratos will be like, enough. Prepare yourself.
Okay, brother. I'll finish it next time.
And then literally it'll be like, now where was I?
Where
Let me
was
get
I?
back to that.
I think that's one of
Yes.
my favorite things of the God of War from Santa Monica Studios. Not gonna lie, when you're just because sometimes I know that in games, getting from area to area is a pain. Like you're like, shit. Like, so I'm going from point A to point B. I can't fast travel. This is gonna take so freaking long. And then but this makes it so worth it.
Yeah, especially when you're like knocking out side quests and you're not advancing the
like
story.
You're walking through or just like paddling through an endless river, lake, and you hear Mimir tell his stories, and some of the stories are funny.
They're
Yeah.
funny as
Switch
hell.
to a very serious and somber and tragic story that you're like, oh, what
They're
happened?
very
here?
sad.
Well,
Yeah.
Do you like how they canonized PlayStation All Stars?
oh, I saw that one.
Yeah.
They-
I don't think I saw that.
Oh,
So,
okay. So what? Go ahead.
What happens is Mimir is like, hey brother, I heard about this tournament that you're in with
No.
a bunch of warriors from different parts of the universes and whatnot. And Kratos is like, I'd rather not speak about it.
I may have heard that and it went right over my head. Oh man, that's good.
It was
There's
PlayStation. There's a lot of them. There's
a couple of them where they like are referring to other stuff. I just heard one, but I can't remember it.
I think the Kavasi poems.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Kavasi poems, they have to do with like other PlayStation games. When you
Multiverse
That's what those are
confirmed.
for.
Oh, really?
Yes, because
Mind blown.
if you read the poems,
Yes.
they either
I
reference
tried
the
reading all
story,
of them.
but if you
It made
look at
no
the cover,
sense.
the covers though showcase like an icon from like the series. So like, for example, one of them might say, cat-like figure meets robotic friend and saves the universe. And it literally
Really?
shows you on the cover, it's Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, I haven't looked
I
at any of
remember
them. Wow.
thinking, I was like, these poems are kind of bad. I was like, who wrote this? This is like this is not poetic at all.
No, these were
and
fun.
I totally missed what they were actually doing with it. Oh my god.
I mean,
that's great.
part of the collecting the poems was so fun because, like, I was streaming this live and I was like trying to figure out with the viewers, like, hey, what game is this referencing? Is this Bloodborne? Is this because like they some of these I was stumped on. I pride myself on knowing most of PlayStation's like IPs, but there were some I was like, I have no idea what this is.
Now I actually have to go and read them.
They're
I
really-
haven't
yeah,
read
no,
them.
that's so funny.
It's funny. Like, look at the cover and see if you can figure it out, and then from there,
Okay,
read
yeah.
the poem and see if that like connects. I think that helps a lot.
I'll do
So
that.
yeah,
That sounds good.
The game has these like little Easter eggs that just like fit in so seamlessly, and it's so funny, but so well thought out. It just like adds to the experience. It's just great. Like the more I talk about this game, the more I just feel like, wow, there's in my mind, I found nothing wrong with it. It's like every time it was like, you're blowing me up more.
Yeah.
For sure. Like there's nitpicks that I can mention that I'll say for the end. I'll say for the end in terms of like what I think maybe they could have done this section differently. Maybe they could have done this part a little bit different. But one of the things that I really liked, we're talking about, them exploring and Mimir talking about all these side stories. The side quests themselves are really meaningful and have significant payoff.
Just a troll. There's one that's a troll quest, and it's hilarious.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
It's in Vanaheim.
Yes.
But you go through so much, and it's just like the end result is like, you gotta be kidding me.
Are you talking about the dog's ball?
Yeah.
Yes. It was
I was
all
like,
over that.
It sounds like such an epic quest you're going like just around the riverbed. I don't know. And then, oh, it's my dog's favorite toy. You gotta be fucking me.
It's probably the one instant where they pull your leg like that.
Oh no, yeah, like it's just a troll moment.
Yeah, it's just for joke. Because like I know one of the things that like other RPGs like to do, specifically JRPGs, they like to give you these meaningless fetch quests.
Yes.
Where it's like, go here and give me an onion. Go
like,
here.
Yeah.
That was your
back.
typical fetch quest, but they try to make it interesting, and then they said like, "Ha, I got you. It's actually a fetch quest."
And
like,
that's okay, because that's the exception to the side quest. The jellyfish in Alfheim.
yes.
So good.
And like
So
and there's such a very beautiful scene there, because like I think like I don't know if it's after the first one or the second one, like
the second jellyfish.
like Atreus is like,
Yeah.
Dad, like, why did you do this with me? And it's like he's like Atreus is trying to wrap his head around like, you disapprove of so many things I do and say, yet you follow me around and help me through this. Like, why? And he's like, and then Mimir kind of shuts him up and says, like, have you ever wondered that he just wants to spend time with you? And
Look
it's
at
like,
that.
then Kratos goes, like, Ragnarok is approaching, but if Ragnarok were to come and it's fully unavoidable, I would like to spend my last moments with you.
Yeah.
Peak
And that's
cinema.
like, oh, damn it.
Peak.
That's like-
Everything
Yeah.
ties
It's like
back to them.
all the side quests. It's like, I feel like when it comes to side quests in a lot of video games, I'm like motivated by like, all right, if I do this, maybe I'll get a better weapon. It's like, all right, I do this, I'll get some more XP that I need. It's like, I'll be stronger when I go to advance the story. So I genuinely like doing side quests for those reasons. And this one, like, I mean, in my limited experience of playing games, like, just top notch. They were story driven, like you were saying, Dr. Mondo. They were like fun and engaging. It wasn't just like, as you're saying, like, run over here, beat some enemies. It was like, run over here, beat some enemies, solve this puzzle, big boss. It's like, it was like, it could have been in the mainline game, but it just like it was that good. It didn't feel like you were venturing off. It was like, all right, instead of advancing the story, I'm going to do some other fun stuff. And that was like super cool.
No, yeah. And the side quests for each of the characters are great, including Freya's. And I think we should talk about Freya.
Well, real quick before we move on to Freya, if the side quests didn't enhance the story, they enhance the characters. There's so much mythos and lore surrounding these characters that, as you're Kratos, you're not aware of this. It expands the lore. For example, the giant whale thing that Mimir locked up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
It's like seeing Mimir, like, because we really don't know. We know that Mimir served under Odin, and that like he was in the tree, like Odin imprisoned him and all that. But we don't know what Mimir did. And like here in this game, we get like through a lot of side quests and like stories that Mimir says, we get to know a little bit about who Mimir was before. And, and like kind of the regret that he feels throughout like all the past actions that he did, which again, this is like another thing that this game does a really good job of. It explores different senses of like grief and regret of like all the different characters. At some point, every character in the story, they regret something in their past, and like you always do like a side quest or something. And again, if it's not like it doesn't help you build up your character stronger or whatever, it just gives a lot of characters closure, the side quests.
Right, for sure. And I mean, it even parrots a little bit what Kratos went through, because Kratos has regrets. He's got a ton of regrets. He has I think 5 or 6 games worth of regrets, and he remembers them. He remembers them.
And Kratos is telling Mimir, it's like, sometimes no matter how much you want to do it, make it right, you've done too much harm. You gotta learn to live with what you did, and but trust the man that you are now.
Be better.
Don't be sorry.
Trust the man that you are now to be better and not repeat these mistakes in the future.
Oh man. Oh god, I want to play the game again.
No, it's it's just wow. Every freaking cyclist, I'm like, damn.
Very, very good characterization. And I mean, it's not even just limited to, Kratos, Atreus, Mimir. Our girl Freya, best girl Freya got some moments in this as well.
Yes.
Freya.
Dare I say Freya is the tritagonist of this game.
Define tritagonist?
Well, the deuteragonist, the two protagonists being Kratos and Atreus.
Okay.
Tritagonist, as in she is the third kind of key player here,
Okay.
I mean, even building from God of War 2018,
Right.
as we said in the intro, she's vengeful against Kratos and a little bit of Atreus as well for killing Baldur.
I feel like not so much Atreus.
There's some.
There is some.
But not
Especially
like in
with
the
the,
sense of like
it's not like
No,
she's,
there
she
is,
clearly wouldn't
but she
kill
has a
Atreus.
degree of
her blade
She's
is going
there for
towards
Atreus.
Kratos' throat.
The blade is going towards Kratos, but if Atreus walks upon her at her little campfire,
She could have killed him. She did not.
because she
Yeah,
says,
she
"I know
did.
how much this will hurt your father."
But she
So-
wasn't. She wasn't.
She's not above. Well, she wasn't above putting Atreus's death before everything else. She wasn't above it. But she definitely experiences, probably outside of Kratos and Atreus, the most growth for a character.
the
in this game.
Vanaheim. When we go to Vanaheim the first time, that chapter peak. Amazing.
I mean, part of what made that chapter peak, Kratos, I think one of the first times ever, is opening up about all the things that he did in his past. These are things that I don't even think he's told Atreus.
Exactly.
Like he's kind of generalized, like, oh yes, I'm from a distant land. I was the god of war.
He spoke
there.
of Calliope. He spoke of Deimos.
Calliope, Deimos. Oh man.
And when Freya says, "You don't understand," and
I was
Kratos
like, no,
is
you don't understand.
you don't understand. Basically, Kratos told I killed my own daughter without knowing. Interesting that he didn't say about the ashes.
Right. Funny enough, no one
let that
questions
little
about
detail out, because that's
right.
That's kind of wild, and one of the most poetically written, poetically tragic things that God of War has written. That's just wow. It's like you killed your wife and daughter, and as a punishment, their ashes are ingrained into your skin for the rest of eternity to remind you of what you did. I'm like,
yep.
Jesus.
I think he just knows to hit home at the fact that he has experienced the loss of a child, and
that's what she's going through.
Correct. And he has experienced wrongfully directed vengeance
and sibling strife.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Because Deimos and Kratos, there was a lot of strife, because for a long time Kratos thought that Deimos was dead. When he finally figures it out, he goes and rescues him. Deimos starts hating Kratos because he thinks that Kratos abandoned him. And they only make their peace at the end before Deimos is killed by Thanatos. And then and Kratos takes revenge on Thanatos and so forth. And even when Deimos wanted Kratos dead, Kratos says it here, I never stopped loving my brother, even when he wished me dead. So it's and he's telling Freya, don't wait until it's too late. make peace
Right.
with your brother. Don't make the same mistake I did where we were in strife and when we made our peace, he died in front of me.
Exactly.
And it's like Kratos is that I just love how Kratos, like throughout the entirety of God of War, has gone from the vengeful warrior to this wise sage in a way. He's gone through so much, and he's just, he's kind of tired of it.
And it's good.
Mistakes.
It's good in the sense that, he kind of like learned from his mistakes. Like, you rewind the clock back to 2018 God of War, this guy does not want to talk about his past at all. He doesn't want to talk to his son. And that's pretty much it. He's not divulging his past to anyone. And then look at him here. Oh, without anyone having to dig, he's openly telling these stories to someone like Freya. Because at the end of the day, he doesn't want to kill Freya. He doesn't want to. He's never once, even in that intro sequence, he never once attacked Freya.
He says Freya saved his son. Freya saved Atreus in the first game.
Yeah,
she did. She did. Everything Kratos, he did was defensive.
Yeah, like Kratos really is like he's really open to, if she decides to take his life, so be it. Like, because he cannot lay a finger, like he can't bring himself to hate her. He can't.
Ooh.
Like,
right.
He saved his son, and that alone, and like Freya was a goddess, and like is the only goddess to a certain extent that Kratos trusts.
Yeah, the only omnipotent being.
The only omnipotent being that,
aside from Mimir. Yeah, Mimir.
Yeah, but Mimir isn't a god per se, but yeah, but okay, fair.
He's an Aesir. He's Aesir.
Sure, okay, then fair.
He's up there. He's up there.
But yeah, like, talking about Freya, like that entire chapter is so wonderful to see how, you start in the path and she's just like hellbent. She's still hellbent and saying like, oh yeah, you're helping me out here, but after the things are done, I'm gonna kill your ass.
She never once like says something like, oh yeah, help me and like we'll be a-okay.
And as you're like advancing, playing, killing monsters and so forth, you see how her tone goes down. It becomes more mellow throughout throughout the chapter. And like, again, getting to know Kratos, all that he's been through, she starts really pondering that question. And of course, the final scene of that chapter. It's such a wonderful scene.
I think it was really good. She outright says, "There's a part of me that's always gonna hate you. Like you killed my son, plain and simple. Like that's it. But she understands her anger is misdirected. All of this chaos is because of one person.
Because of Odin.
And that's because of Odin.
Yeah, like you didn't want to kill my son. You were basically forced to kill my son.
No, I don't even think she sees it as that.
No. Like she doesn't. Like she says, like I still like a part of me still hates you because you killed my son, but you wouldn't have been put into the situation. Like that situation wouldn't have happened in the first place
if it weren't for Odin. But I don't think she sees it as far as like it's just all Odin. It's all.
Oh yeah, it's all Odin.
But the beauty of it all too is that at the end of that chapter, she's just saying, our goals align. Let's work together. But by the end of the game, it's no longer their goals are aligned.
Yeah.
They have now formed a friendship. They have
formed a family. She uses the word family.
Well, let's
has
talk about
a skill tree.
She does it. She's okay. She's a party member.
She's a party.
Not only do we get Atreus as a playable character, Freya is a party member. Right. She has a skill tree.
With her own skill set. She is not just a copy paste of Atreus.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They are doing and they're doing such different things in this game. As you said, oh my gosh, Hooper TV. They're a family. We're not even talking about the rest. They have a squad. This has not been done before in God of War ever.
Nope.
It is.
Yeah, home base.
They got a home base. They got Kratos. They got Atreus. They bring Freya into the fold. Sindri.
You can command Sindri and Brock. They don't have skill trees, but you can command
Sindri and Brock. They don't get their skill tree, but
Angerboda too.
Angerboda
too.
They have their own little cool gimmicks
cool.
in their own fights.
They have Mimir leading the way. And then you have Tyr.
Well,
Tyr.
What a weird. Okay. Is it time for Tyr?
Do we want to address Tyr?
We can talk about
We should address Tyr.
Tyr.
All right, let's address this right now. If you go back to our speculation podcast, where we talked about what we thought about the final trailer, I said, I think Tyr, something's wrong. It looks too, like in that trailer, like when him and Kratos grab hands, I'm like, that feels to me like a red herring. I don't think it's gonna be hunky dory. I think Tyr's gonna betray. I just said Tyr's gonna betray you. That's all I said.
I think there was always an assumption that, because that was a god from the Aesir that they're actively pursuing to help them in Ragnarok. And it's something where it's like, yeah, but Kratos, you're not supposed to trust any of these people. These people have done no favors for you. Most of them are, or if not all of them, are terrible. So it's like them actively pursuing Tyr is like, so he's agreeing to help us, but what's the angle?
Yeah,
I think Kratos only did it for Atreus.
Kratos did it for Atreus.
Yeah, he did it for Atreus. And again,
like, this is your plan,
doing it because he's doing it because of what? Bound by fate, right? Atreus, in a way, is kind of pursuing Tyr because he's trying to just fulfill this prophecy. Like, oh well, I mean, yeah, Tyr's supposed to like lead the armies against Odin and during Ragnarok. And it's like Atreus in this instance not really making a choice on his own. He's just going by what fate is demanding of him. And it bites him in the ass.
I gotta say, like, there was something off of Tyr, but the way it happened, I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding.
well, see, now here's the thing with Tyr. There are certain things that Tyr says throughout the game that kind of hint that he may not be who he says he is. One of the examples, and there's likely a lot more, but one of the examples, and one of these people pointed out during my stream, they said, hey, did you notice that when Tyr is talking to Freya, there's certain instances where he calls her Frigg instead? And who is the only other person that refers to Freya by that nickname?
Odin.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I will say also, and this is where I was like, it's not that I dislike Tyr, but when
he got on my nerves towards the end.
He got on my
nerves.
He got on my nerves very early on when
Kratos
would, be the father to Atreus.
Right.
And then Tyr would openly say something about, you gotta go fulfill your prophecy.
That was sus. Yeah.
Stuff like that. And Kratos would look at Tyr and was like,
what the hell did you just say?
Yeah, no, literally. And I felt for Kratos in those moments.
I did. Yeah.
I was like, he's undermining your parenting right now. That's not cool.
Right. And then he, when Kratos, confronts him on that, he kind of like backtracks, like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. I apologize, Kratos. I'm like, I don't know, man. You kind of did that a couple times.
And it was always towards pushing him to finding answers for himself. Because obviously, the big twist. Should we talk about the big twist now, or should we?
Is this the big twist? Is Tyr the big twist?
Tyr's one of the big twists.
Here's one of the big twists.
That whole sequence is a very.
I just gotta say, like, if you've gone to some point in the game, there are two twists with Tyr.
I read something. I wish I didn't read.
There are two twists with Tyr. That's
interesting.
So that's why, again, we gotta. I don't know how spoilerish we're gonna be. I know we're talking main storyline spoilerish.
Yeah,
let's keep it. let's keep it main storyline.
Okay.
The main
that's
story,
fine.
yeah.
I read this and I was like, damn, I wish I didn't read this. So this is a side quest that, again, as we said, expands the characters. So we won't get into that. Brock speaks for us all who had suspicions of Tyr.
Yep.
You know?
What the hell's your problem? Why are you always saying that we gotta go do this and that when you undermine Kratos?
What do you mean you always had a back door into Asgard?
It's
Why
time
are
you
you
did some
telling us this
explaining.
now?
Pretty good.
He was on the money, Brock.
And then he said, why do you call him Loki? You never called him Loki.
He kept calling him Loki. Yes, he kept calling him Loki. That was hella sus. And
Brock was the most real out of all of them. Brock was
Brock
like,
had a great game.
Brock had a
he was
great
amazing.
arc. Yes.
Yeah,
I think we're on
amazing.
Brock now.
Fantastic.
I think
I
Tyr
loved Brock.
is the perfect segue into Brock and Sindri.
did you like them, Brock and Sindri?
I think
I liked them more than Tyr. I honestly didn't really like Tyr.
Oh, yeah,
I did
don't
not. Oh
really-
yeah,
didn't
I
care
did.
for Tyr. Didn't care.
I,
for
Yeah.
Tyr.
like
and so
I was
the-
interested, and as the story went on, I'm like, yo, oh god, you're kind of getting on my nerves every time you
I
speak.
think the final straw was when Garm cut the rift, and they were attacking the Hell Warriors were
and he
attacking
walked
the
out
house.
with that shield, like, oh, oops.
And everybody
Yeah.
was like, "Thanks for nothing."
The battle's
Tyr.
over. What the hell was that about?
Yeah, like Mimir got sassy. He's like, "No thanks to you."
Yeah. Oh
Like-
god, that was funny.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
didn't really like him. So when the twist came, I was kind of like, well, I don't really like him anyways. So it was just kind of like, I wasn't like heartbroken. I was like, oh no, not Tyr. What? You know,
I wasn't
but to
heartbroken
see-
that it wasn't Tyr.
to see Brock die,
To see, Brock.
that was
Right.
such a great game. He had such a great arc in this game.
He had a really good arc. I mean, he's literally the catalyst to what gets you like the brand new addition into God of
Yeah.
War, the Dropnir spear. Fantastic. I was wondering the entire game, yo. I love the Blades of Chaos. I love the Leviathan axe, but make this a squeakquel. Like what else are you gonna give me? What else?
I,
Give me
push
I
it a
knew
little
we would
further.
have to get something because what in God of War fashion, you always get
You always
other
get another
weapons.
weapon.
Yes.
You always get another weapon.
right.
Always.
Yeah, and then
Right.
War
you
3
know, I think
was
there was
the-
rumors.
The what?
There was rumors that you were gonna get the hammer, and you know,
I always
kinda was
thought,
like,
yeah, that was like, oh,
that'd be
that was a little too
interesting.
obvious.
But to be honest, like I thought the spear gameplay wise was like a perfect addition because it's like the axe, like you have like strong close hand combat. You can throw it if you want. The blades, you can like take up a lot of space, you know, with like
Crowd
slashing
control.
everywhere.
Right.
And then the spear played so differently, and I thought that was cool. It's like you could
And
long distance. for a
also,
bit.
it's great because he's a Spartan.
It
And
ties
actually-
into the
A
character.
spear, it ties into his origins as a Spartan. Like the spear was the weapon of choice.
Well,
Like-
there's a direct line. He literally
Yes,
Brock's
he
like
says it.
Brock says, "You know how to handle that?
He was like,
A spear is the first thing a Spartan is taught."
Exactly. It ties in so well with his origins, his character, his past. It ties in so well with that. Plus,
And
the
then-
weapon is just badass.
Lore
Yeah.
Really is.
wise too, Dropnir was an actual ring that someone proposed with. I can't remember what it was, and it was like one ring was never enough, so the ring
So it
always
kept-
duplicates.
Right.
So
right.
the fact that they turn it into a spear, and also just that sequence is another really well done sequence. The Lady of the Lake, you
Yeah.
know, because the biggest thing, you know, Sindri, and this wasn't revealed in God of War 2018. Brock is 3/4 a dwarf, because he died, and Sindri wanted, you know, he couldn't accept his death. You know, that's a big theme too, just kind of acceptance of fate and death and whatnot, and trying
Right.
to beat it or cheat it. He only recovered 3/4 of Brock's soul.
And that's
the
why he's
lady-
blue, right? Is that why he's blue?
I think that's why he's blue. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's why he's blue.
And
The
by
lady-
the way, like you said, the Lady of the Lake, and this is like really kind of like a little parenthesis. There's one of Mimir's like random ass stories I think he talks about the Lady of the Lake, but not the Lady of the Lake we meet, but a very prominent Lady of the Lake in mythology. And I think he makes kind of like an Easter egg comment on King Arthur, like the Lady of the Lake of Excalibur, because the way he talks about it, it's like, wait, what? That he met this Lady of the Lake, and it sounds like an Easter egg like of Excalibur and all that mythos.
There are other pantheons in the God of War
I don't know if I call that a
mythos.
pantheon, but
I
it's
mean,
an
like
interconnected world.
Other regions
game.
of mythos. Other regions of mythos.
Sure, I'm game. I'm game either way. But just it was kind of heartbreaking because that was Brock's dream.
He was excited.
Yes.
And Sindri was like, "Oh no, you shouldn't go. I should go." It's like, why the hell not? I want to go see the Lady of the Lake.
And again, there's so much growth in Kratos. These are his friends.
Kratos calls them friends. He actually calls them.
He actually calls them friend.
Kratos told Sindri to back off. Let Brock do this. He needs to know the truth. And if you're not going to tell him, he needs to find it out on his own. But either way, this is what he wants. It's like let him do this. And I like to categorize this as we kind of see a fall of Sindri as a character, and then you have the rise of Brock. And at the heart of it all, they're just, again, everyone is trying to protect one another and the consequences, So Brock realizes he's dead. And then, but Kratos still with, I need you to bless the spear.
I love that.
That was such a great scene.
That was so good.
But too,
it is the nature
the blessing of a great blacksmith.
It is the nature of a thing that gives its essence. Yes.
Kratos is trying to comfort this guy. A character trait that you never would have seen in, like, I don't know, God of War 2 or 3. Like, what? He's caring for someone that Brock is not even blood related to him. To me, that's growth in a character. He really sees these people as his family, blood or not.
He's learning to trust because Kratos has always been very apprehensive of everyone. Because every person he's met has somehow always wanted to use him. And he's never been able to fully trust anyone. Like God's people alike. And these are the first people that he really learns how to trust. Other than Lawfrey or Faye.
Right.
Faye.
Faye.
I liked Faye in this game.
Did you like Faye?
I did. No, I liked.
Yeah, she was very familiar.
It was so interesting.
Do you recognize Faye? Let me ask. Do you recognize Faye?
Yeah, who is she? Because I know I've seen her before.
I couldn't put my tongue on it, but then I looked it up. I was like, wow, that's her.
No, I don't think I do. Not off the top of my head, not through playing it.
Oh, wait. Is it oh my God, wait. Is it the actress from Daredevil?
It is the actress from Daredevil, Karen. I mean, not Deborah Ann Worrell. Yes.
The love interest?
Yes.
Got you.
Yep. I literally had no idea, and the second you said, "Do you know who it is?" and I'm like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, now that you say it, I do hear it.
She does. She looks exactly like her.
Yeah. No, I like those moments because you kind of get to see Kratos in the past where he's still like extremely stoic. He's not talkative. He's like just grunting and mumbling and like Faye's like bringing him along slowly and like, it's like, Faye is like this airy spirit girl, and you can see why Kratos would, kind of be like into it while still not being able to express anything to her. So I thought that was cool and engaging. It wasn't like on Angry Boda Atreus levels where I was like, shit, these guys I'm like so locked in with. But it was nice, and I liked kind of having that throughout the game. I thought it was well placed throughout the adventure.
Right. I definitely appreciated those scenes. Not as much as the Angry Boda bits, but it was still pretty good seeing Kratos open up vulnerably like that. But that trust, of course, is Kratos spreads that trust a little too thinly across everyone. He's trusting Sindri, he's trusting Brock, he's trusting Faye, and to his detriment, he trusted Tyr. and everyone trusted Tyr, and there's a consequence in that.
Nobody was fooled, not once, and I'm glad they pointed that out too.
You mean everyone was fooled?
Because
I'm sorry, everybody was fooled.
decision.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
It was Atreus' decision, and like you get that he wants to put it on him, but nobody else saw, you know. And I'm glad
No
they
one.
tried telling him. It's like, yo,
And
it's
those
not
other
you.
people know Odin.
Right,
Mir knows
yeah.
Odin. Freya knows Odin. And even Sindri
Nothing.
and Brock have met Odin. I'm pretty sure Sindri and Brock made Mjolnir.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Antonio,
that was
you're mute, Dr. Mondo.
But yes, they did make Mjolnir.
And the Leviathan axe.
and
as
the
well.
Leviathan axe. Right.
But yeah, nobody called it. Nobody saw it. Like, as much as Atreus can put it on his shoulders, everybody's at fault.
But again, it's the same thing that, like, to a certain extent, that Freya did. Like, what Sindri is looking for someone to redirect his anger at, and the easiest person that he can redirect his anger to is really Atreus. Because, like,
Interesting.
because all the events that lead to Tyr / really Odin killing Brock are brought upon because Atreus goes really out of his way and is gung-ho about saving Tyr. So, like, everything, like, Atreus is like the catalyst of everything going to crap in Sindri's eyes. Sure,
Right.
Odin drives the blade through Brock, but the one that got the blade there was Atreus.
Well, let's talk
Sindri's
about
mind,
it.
in Sindri's mind.
At least in
Right.
Sindri's eyes, yeah.
It's
Sindri's eyes.
Yeah.
well,
That's a good point.
you watch it decline when we first
Well, yeah.
become Atreus.
the bear, like,
It's
the
Atreus and
bear-
Sindri. Well, I'm before that it's Atreus and Sindri. You know, it's they're friends. They've been doing
They've
this.
been running off together. That's who's
Right.
been kind of like
Yes.
adventuring with.
That's
Right.
his best friend, you know? Like
Yeah.
he's
His
like
only friend, probably.
he's
The wolves.
calling him Treus, he's calling him Sin. They're like, it's a nickname.
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And then I think, it's the bear moment was the first moment where he starts to lose trust in Atreus. He's like, you turned into a bear and you whacked me, you know? From there, he's cold. He's pretty cold. He's not like all the way cold towards Atreus, but he's like, not, he's not cool. And then, Atreus disappears and goes to Asgard and leaves them hanging all this time. And he's like, what about me? I'm Sindri. We've been doing this from the get-go.
Yeah.
Right.
Sindri feels that, because on top of that too, Brock and Sindri have their little love-hate, very similar to my long-lost brother and I. But so it's like,
You know what? That's funny you say that, because I was thinking the same thing. Sindri and Brock's like love-hate relationship is similar to me and my long-lost brother. So it's odd.
very
Yeah,
interesting.
that we both have
Very
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
But
Mhm.
yeah, so then of course Brock, that's the tip of the iceberg, Sindri's I really don't know what to think of what happens next to Sindri.
It's so fascinating too, because that's like such a choice. It's like we watch all these characters like go on an arc, and kind of like, for the most part, everybody lands in a better place. Like, all right, Thor
Sindri
dies,
is
but,
the only one that lands in a worse place.
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't die or doesn't end up in a worse place. And it's all right. I don't want to jump to the end, but to like kind of end with that, that's like so interesting, because it's like, why? What's the
So, like,
the point?
could this be a loose end that's not tied on purpose?
Ooh,
well, hold on.
Let's
dial
save
it
it.
back.
We're gonna get into what we think the future of the series is.
Right. Save it
Let's
for
come.
the end.
Let's table this. Let's come back
No.
to it.
We'll definitely come back to it.
By the way, I sent you guys through the chat, like, the video for.
Oh, yes. We'll
and
definitely
by
check
the way,
that out.
for sure, it is Excalibur, for sure. what they're
Okay.
talking-
Oh,
There we
interesting.
go. All right.
Very interesting.
Yep.
But aside from that, we get, Odin. Do we want to talk about Odin?
Can we talk about the Aesir?
the Aesir?
Let's
Oh,
Odin.
yeah.
All of them.
Odin,
Yeah,
he's
the-
Can we talk
Did they
about
do it on the
Heimdall?
Well, hold up.
I'm
We gotta
the
start
line.
we gotta start at the top of the tree. The patriarch.
Start at the top.
Okay.
Right.
He is the patriarch here.
All right, let's
Right.
start. Atreus' friend. That's who he meets first.
Atreus
Oh,
is
you
friends?
you want to work your way from?
No, I was just kidding. We don't have to talk about it. He was fine.
All right,
He had a crush on-
scaffolder.
Yeah, he had a
Scaffolder.
crush on Thrud. He was okay. It's like, all right, Trace, you get another
Yeah.
little buddy.
Like,
He's
all
a
right,
mid
that's
guardian, but again, it's Atreus interacting with someone his age.
Yeah,
You know,
Right.
yeah.
cool. Right.
Yeah.
Was nice. So Heimdall, yeah. I mean,
All right, fine. Let's
interesting.
work our way up.
we
Heimdall.
want to start at the bottom, build
We
our
can-
way up
sure,
to Odin.
Let's
I
go
was
on this
going
journey with
through-
Atreus.
I was trying to get closer to the big house.
Let's get to Heimdall.
All right, fine. Heimdall.
Interesting character.
He's the Baldur of the game. I feel the asshole.
Yeah, he's the
Total
guy that you want to
asshole.
punch.
Yeah.
From the
Yeah.
get go. And
You know what? It's like, just real quickly, it's like I feel like most people can't help but like bring their MCU relationship to
For
like
sure.
some of this
Yeah.
stuff, you know? And it's like, you know, Odin, it's like, all right, he's the king. He's definitely different than the MCU Odin. And you're like, Thor, okay, I'm seeing it. Like, Heimdall being a total asshole, I felt like that was like the most like thing my brain had to wrap my head around. I was like, oh shit, like he's just not the guy who stands at the gate. He's like,
why is he
stands
not
at
played
the-
by Idris Elba?
yeah, you know, it was like a couple things that I couldn't help but compare, even though I really didn't do that with like a lot of the
Right.
other cast. It like maybe crossed my mind and I forgot about it immediately.
No,
It
yeah,
was
like
so
I really
different.
didn't
It
expect
was such a
Heimdall
contrast.
to be
like-
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the main issue with him. But I mean, you know, he serves his purpose. He's that guy that you just want to beat the crap out of him, whether it's with Atreus or Kratos. You know he's gonna get his shit rocked at
Well,
some point.
It was a good you know, kind of another catalyst of things. You know, Odin proposed no more Aesir blood is spilled.
Right.
We go to the Norns. The Norns say Heimdall is going to try to kill Atreus. Kratos is not trying to be a god killer. Also,
And he's really not in that fight. You know?
he's not.
He's given Heimdall every chance to just shut the hell up
Yeah.
and
walk
leave.
away.
I'll walk away.
Yes.
And walk away.
Did you
And-
like how when he walked away, he did the spear chant and it blew off Heimdall's arm?
Yeah.
That was
I'm like,
amazing.
you don't need them.
Yeah.
But it's just such a good, like, it's just good story again. You know, he's gonna have to revert back as much as he's
Yeah.
really trying not to.
And if nothing else, you know, God of War has always had like, you know, you fight the gods. That's like part of the selling point, you know?
Right,
And so up to that
right.
moment, you know, you fought Thor in the beginning, but that was like an opening fight. Like I think, you know, eventually you have the end game guys, but Heimdall's kind of like the only person kind of like floating around. You get that like kind of 1v1 really tough fight too. So really
It was a really tough fight.
It was a good
That was-
fight. It was a
very
fun
good fight.
fight.
I
yeah.
enjoyed it.
No, and it's like Heimdall is the because really when you go like you meet different Aesir in the game, and really they follow Odin because of fear.
Yeah.
They really all hate Odin's ass.
Everybody hates Odin.
Every
Except-
single one.
Heimdall.
Oh,
Heimdall-
Heimdall
Weird.
rides him.
Heimdall is the blind, is the devout follower, like just this fanatic. He's a
I-
fanatic.
I
And
think
that, like, and Mimir mentions it even before you meet Heimdall. He says it's like Heimdall is one of the most dangerous gods because he blindly believes everything that Odin says is right. And like that nothing is like more dangerous than that. And when you see Heimdall for the first time kind of talking, it's like, oh, like Mimir was so freaking right here.
He was right. He was on the money. This
But
guy.
I think it makes sense too that it's Heimdall who's so blindly following. The man who sees everything is
But-
the most blind to
Yeah.
Odin.
oh,
and
it's
his
so
vision.
ironic.
It's an irony. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I can buy it. At least you beat his ass. It was a
Oh,
great
yeah.
boss fight.
I
So
felt
satisfying.
so good after that boss fight. I was like,
Did you
"Damn."
feel good? I felt terrible.
Well, I felt good in the sense that he had it coming. But
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
same time, I'm like, Kratos didn't want to do this.
Oh, yeah,
I'm on
like-
team. I'm
and
on
then
team Mimir.
Mimir's looking
No,
at him.
I'm like,
Mimir's
Oh
looking
damn,
at him.
yes,
like, I felt it.
when Mimir rolls over
Yeah,
and
that was a
Mimir
good
stares.
shot.
Don't do it, brother.
Ah,
Don't
do
that was
it, brother.
good. Ah,
Oh,
that was heart wrenching. That was good. That was good.
that was rough.
I still did want to beat him. Like I was just like,
I
I'm sorry.
still, Mimir, this is happening. You're
Yeah.
not
Oh
stopping.
no,
This
no,
is
no.
happening whether you like it or not.
And Mimir drops. He says, brother, I don't know if we're abiding fate or if we're breaking it or something like that, because that sets in motion the rest of Ragnarok.
They
Again,
said this would
because
happen.
he has the horn of Ragnarok.
Yeah,
The Galahorn.
The
Gjallarhorn.
Gjallarhorn of Ragnarok.
Right.
I really like.
Um,
I think like every time we talk of Mimir, it's like it just reminds me. I freaking love Mimir. I freaking love Mimir.
he's
the
great.
character.
He really is great.
Yeah, just like a floating
and-
head that just sits on his hip. Just great.
It's just
Never
great.
get rid of him. Never get
Yeah.
rid of him.
On your left, brother.
On your left.
Huge.
Oh,
Need
my
that
eyes.
sometimes.
I can't see.
Very helpful.
Kratos, you're on fire.
Did
It'll
you,
pop.
Yeah, exactly.
did you hear the line? Like, it's a line that you can miss where, like, if you put, they ask him, Mimir, have you ever tried, like, being on Kratos' front hip? Instead
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
and he's like, never again.
Ah,
And it's like, they tried it. And they're like, no, absolutely not.
Let me-
that's
Absolutely not.
hilarious.
Let me ask: have y'all unlocked the runic move with Mimir?
Oh, the head move with the Bifrost?
Yes, yes.
Oh, it's,
Oh, I
it's,
don't think I have.
no, you do, because if you beat the game, it unlocks for you. It's
Oh, got you. Yeah.
the description is literally like, unleash the nausea building up inside of Mimir or something like that.
Nice.
And it's literally a relic that when you press, I think it's L1 and circle,
Yeah.
you grab
Mhm.
Mimir and he emits like these laser beams out of his eyes, and
It's pretty funny.
he makes this noise like, "Ugh." Like,
That's pretty great.
he's sick. Great stuff. It's just great stuff. But yeah, that's Heimdall. How do we feel about the next leg up in the Aesir pantheon? Thor and his family. You got Thor, Sif, Thrud.
Third.
How do we feel about the God of Thunder and his fam?
Okay. I guess going into the game, it was like, man, if we fight Thor, are we gonna end up killing Thor? And I'm very glad that is not the route they took. You know, it would have been super easy to just have this cool one-off fight with Thor.
I'm glad we still fought him.
I'm glad we
Still
still
glad we
fought
fought
him, but I'm
Yeah.
glad it wasn't just this one-off thing.
Right.
And but again, everything happens due to Atreus' decisions. We meet Thor, he's layered. He's hurt about, the death of his sons. But also he's not a good father.
He's
at
not.
all.
He beat the
He's
crap out of
not,
Modi.
But he is trying. That's the thing. He is trying. He really cares for his daughter. As like you say, and also things that you can do when you're Atreus and you're walking in in the whatever home, the thing,
The
hut.
longhouse.
the longhouse.
The longhouse in Asgard. Yeah.
You can peek into the doors where Sif and
Oh,
Thor
like
are
put your
conversation.
ear next to it. to
Put
listen
your
in?
ear in.
Yeah.
And you can hear a lot of the things that go on there, and you really see Thor is really trying his best to be a good father. He wants to be someone that his daughter is proud of, and but there's a lot of parallels to a certain way with old Kratos, because he's being controlled by the gods, but
You kill, I think.
Yeah, exactly. You kill, I
Oh,
think.
Yes.
But at the same time, unlike old Kratos that was driven by revenge, he's kind of afraid to rebel against Odin, and Sif is pushing him on actually to rebel.
Constantly saying,
constantly
"What? We don't
Sif is
like
saying,
him. We don't like Odin. Why are
we
we
don't like
listening
Odin.
to him?"
Fuck him. Go up against him. You can do this.
But it feels like
But-
Thor's been manipulated since he was probably 4.
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
feels like
Easily.
Odin has a lot of power over him.
And also,
Right.
it's funny because Thor has this hate against the giants, but in Norse mythology, Thor is half giant.
So they referenced that.
I think they did too. Yeah,
They
Yeah,
do.
they also did. It's like
Mm.
why? Like,
'Cause
like
he's not the daughter of Freya. He's not.
no,
the,
he's no.
He's not
No,
the son of Freya.
right.
Yeah, right.
Like
Right.
Baldur is
Baldur's
her
the
only
only
child.
Baldur's the only child of Freya and was the youngest child. Was the youngest of all the Aesir. This guy, like Thor, is half Jotnar, half Aesir, and it just like really hammers in like, wow, look
Hammers.
how much Odin has manipulated Thor to the
Mhm.
point where Thor became Odin's inquisitor when it came to the Jotnar.
And
I mean,
thus ended up
And-
genociding his own
people.
yes.
Like
Exactly.
so, but it's really not like it's sad, but it's really nice to see, you know, like Thor's character, because you would think like, oh, Thor is just like the god of thunder, really big and strong and blah blah blah. But there's so much more than meets the eye with him.
Yeah.
I wanted to
they gave
shout
him
out
character.
I was gonna shout out the drunken moment when he's like,
Oh,
Yes.
great
Oh, the
scene.
bar
Moment.
scene. Oh,
The drunk
Great
woman is
moment.
great.
great
so
moment,
good.
you know?
so good.
Seeing how
That,
disappointed
that entire
Rue
like the
was.
gameplay sequence there is super freaking cool. Like
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
but the
super funny.
character moment is so freaking good.
yeah, absolutely.
Easily. I mean,
And-
Thor's trying his best.
And can we talk about his
He had a slip up
daughter?
there.
And his what?
His daughter? Like
Oh yeah, Thrud. Thrud is. I think
Thrud
she's
is-
great.
Rude is the shit. And
She
There
must
is
be
a hidden-
Valkyrie.
by the way, there's a scene at the end, at the like very end of the game, that's really cool. I don't know if you guys have
Oh
seen
no
it.
no no no! I know what you're talking
Antonio,
about. Save
Dr.
it,
Mondo,
save it,
you're the only
save
one
it,
who's
save it.
platinum this thing. So
Yes, save it. Save it. And the thing is,
Well,
I know
I'm not
exactly what you're
spoiling,
talking. I
but-
know what you're talking about because you
What?
referenced Thrud and you said something cool at the end. Not here. Not
No.
here.
That's fine.
But-
But
But still,
I'm just giving people more reasons to keep on playing the game.
keep playing. Play
after
the
they-
end
after
game.
you-
I wasn't gonna stop. I wasn't.
Yes,
gonna
you were.
stop.
You were going to go back
No,
to
I
play
wasn't.
Arkham.
I
No.
kind of was thinking about stopping, so this is good. I needed to hear this.
Yeah,
There's
like
gonna be
again,
more.
there's so
There's
much more to this game once
There's
you finish.
post.
Hell,
There's
there's like
post-game content.
there's
keep
a lot
playing.
of post game content.
Yeah, I beat like 4 dragons
Um,
before taking on the final boss because I got lost a little. But
Oh yeah, no, I did the same thing. Those dragon
Yeah.
side quests can suck you in.
they
Oh,
kept
yeah.
popping up. I was
Um,
like, damn, another dragon shit.
but I definitely liked Thor's characterization. I liked how he was just trying his best for his family this entire time, and I mean he's just being manipulated by Big Daddy himself, Odin, and you really see like firsthand with Atreus like how this man tries to win people over. He is very, very articulate. He's very charming in his words. The man knows how to speak and win you over. There were times where I genuinely thought, and again,
Yes.
it was so
Yes.
good because I actually thought as Atreus, maybe Odin is
He-
actually just trying to save
Maybe-
people.
Maybe he's just trying to do the right thing a different way.
Right. And it's all tied to this. This is probably like the one element where I was like, do I like this part of the story? There's this MacGuffin, right?
It's a MacGuffin.
It's a MacGuffin. It's the mask. And it's the mask. Basically Odin sees a tear in reality. And when he tried peeking through there, that's how he lost his eye. Bam. Oh, that's how Odin lost his eye. That's cool. But it's a tear in reality that supposedly has the answers to the universe. It has all the secrets and all the mysteries solved for you right from the get-go. And the whole thing with Odin is that he wants to tear open this tear, and they need this mask that Loki can translate, and he's going around trying to find this all the pieces of the mask. This is probably the one thing where I was like, I'm okay with it. I'm fine. I just didn't like how it was kind of just thrown at us in this game. Maybe it was referenced in the last game. I don't remember, but
No, I don't think so.
but that's the big goal of Odin. It's like, he wants to do this so that he could find the secrets to stopping Ragnarok, because Ragnarok is coming. It's going to destroy Asgard and all the realms.
Well,
Actually,
that's the thing, is that originally everybody thought it was just going to destroy the 9 realms. No, this thing is only
Right.
coming for Asgard.
Exactly.
By the way, didn't that mask resemble the mask?
Yeah.
Yes, the mask from like the movie,
Loki's
the
mask. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, Loki's mask.
Right. I think it is supposed to be Loki's mask, but we never see him put it on.
Right.
But with that said, they even referred. They're like, Loki, what are you trying to do? Cause all this mischief? The god of mischief.
Oh,
Yeah. They dropped
Roll
that
credits.
There. But yeah, Odin. I mean, yeah, his motivation's definitely kind of a MacGuffin, as you said. But definitely, we watch it unravel. This just everything is not. Grass is always greener in Asgard. This dude seeds the roots have spread through so many of the Aesir and trickled into the 9 realms. And
you see that as you adventure. It's kind of like a nice world building aspect. It's like you hear stories of like how Odin ruined this place, tricked this person hates
He's
them.
Not a nice guy.
Oh, and even then, so when you go into Asgard the first time, you see all the Midgardians, and you're like, oh, like Odin saved some Midgardians. It's
How
like,
nice.
How nice.
They're
And
basically
then you go
refugees, and he's opening his doors.
and he's opening his doors, and
He's really not. He's keeping them outside the wall.
no, but still.
But
and
it's
you're
asylum. It's like away from the chaos of because Fimbulwinter's in Midgard.
Yeah, it's not
freezing.
Fimbulwinter's not being hit. Yeah, they're not getting hit by Fimbulwinter.
And then it's like at the end you figure out, holy shit, this motherfucker. It's like everything he does, it's like very nice in the surface, but deep down inside it's rotten, just like his core.
Yeah, that's how you learn. This guy is a terrible person, and you can't wait to. I was looking more forward to beating his ass than Thor's. I wanted to fight Thor. I really wanted to rock Odin. Wanted to rock Odin.
Did you ever think? I mean, again, because this game throws a lot of different things, cool things at you. As Atreus, you partner up with Thor. I was like,
that was nice. That was nice.
I was like, is Thor about to become like a party member too?
Yeah, we didn't mention.
Honestly,
square.
Those scenes, those parts, you really don't need to do anything. Thor can do everything.
Oh yeah, Thor like one shots everything. As
and
you're
just like in the background, like, oh, pretty world. Look at that, looking for treasure chests and loot.
I mean, it's funny because at some point I was expecting Thor to become a party member, because if you pay attention, whenever Thor and Thrud, whenever they attack someone, they would inflict like a lightning bolt status ailment, and I would be like, oh, I can't inflict that. Atreus and Faye can't inflict that. They at some point they must be joining the party, because that's a unique status ailment that no one else can inflict. But there you go. They're the only ones that can do it. But still
left on the cutting floor. Could have been like an idea they had. It was just like we have so much back then.
Yeah, there's so much. Oh my god, the game was already too big on its own. Yeah,
it's really good.
Did you peep? Because Mythos. What, Loki's adopted by Odin? Did you peep the brotherly bond that was semi-forming?
I did feel that. I did feel that a little. Yeah.
Especially, but the last time he left them to, run away with that rock from Sindri, where he said just slam us on the ground. Definitely in that segment, I feel like they were kind of getting close.
Yes,
they were definitely bonding a little bit, and then of course Sif got into his head saying, Thor, they killed our kids. What are you doing? And at that point, it's over. It's like, all right, we're not doing this then. And then he dips. But
again, Thor was a great character, and
he was.
Unfortunately, he passes, and the way he dies, it's tragic. But he goes out, I would say, such a better person.
Yeah, he goes out on his own terms, in the sense of he's not listening to his father.
He finally stands up to Odin,
right?
And it's like again, the phrase of the game, don't be sorry, be better, all the time. Right. That's what Kratos says to him, and he says we have to be better, not even for ourselves, but for our children. That's
what snapped him in.
Oh, that's why we need to be better.
Some good dialogue too, right there. He's like, my son calls your daughter friend. I would never hurt her. Like,
Exactly.
that's
Right.
it. That's all it
Right.
takes.
That's all the reason I have to trust her. If my son trusts her, I trust her.
I love Kratos' like kind of mentality because you know he's like at his heart he's kind of a meathead, you know, like he's not going to do like this like deep exploration internally. He's like, yo, my son likes your daughter. I wouldn't touch her, and it's like it's that simple for him, but yet it's like kind of layered and deep, and it's so cool. I kind of really dug how they were able to take a bit of a, you know, kind of like this warrior mindset person, just like fill him with so much though.
Yeah, they
Right,
just fill them with, I guess, positivity, kind of, you know, versus this rage.
Kratos is just a marshmallow, honestly. Like,
Well, I think it also speaks to, you know, Atreus and Kratos. They come to an understanding, and they say, when I'm not here, you think of me, and when, you know, I'm not here, I'll think of you.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
it's like we keep each other in check, because Kratos says, I am afraid that if you're not with me, I will become the monster I once was.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, because Atreus is Kratos's link, I would say, to like his humanity.
He's his crutch.
Yeah,
he uses him
his
as a crutch.
his moral
Anchor.
compass.
Anchor. That's a better
He's
one.
his anchor, his moral compass to a certain extent.
Right.
Like the inspiration and the muse he has and the reason to be better. If Atreus is not there, what the hell is stopping Kratos from becoming who he was before? And
Exactly.
so it's so good. Like it's just
It is
great.
good. It is.
That
It
moment
is.
is fantastic when they finally come to an understanding, you know. Like, I need to trust you, and even though you're gonna do things that maybe you're not gonna tell me right off the bat why you're doing it, you're my son, and I will trust you. Trust your judgment and trust your decisions.
Can I take it back to post Atreus just freed Garm, and they finished fighting off and defending Sindri's house.
Yeah.
And Atreus just buries himself into Kratos and hugs him.
Nice.
I need a hug.
Right. Yeah. And then everybody has words for Atreus.
Yes.
And Kratos, you think Kratos is about to lay into him too. And Kratos says,
Kratos says, I'm just what?
No, he says, Atreus made a mistake. But we will fix together.
Daddy.
Father of the year. Father of the year.
Oh man, it was great. It was great because I was expecting a reprimand too. I'm like, oh, don't do it, man, don't do it. Because that was after, you know, Atreus returned from Asgard and he felt like he failed. He's like, damn, I didn't.
Not only that,
accomplish anything.
Big time.
And not only that, it's like that was like right after like when Odin meets up in Svartalfheim with Kratos and kind of tells him, oh yeah, your boy. He's with me.
Oh, he's doing great.
He's doing great. He's something amazing, that boy.
Want to see him?
You want to see him? That's something you should be proud of. And it's like, have you ever wondered that you're the reason he left? It's like, and he really starts like hammering into Kratos' psyche.
Oh,
right.
Playing with
that's another good piece of dialogue, which I think plays into actually the ending of the game too. Odin asked Kratos, he said, did they ever pray for you, Kratos?
Yes.
Did they ever pray to you?
Yeah.
You know, were you a benevolent god? You know?
You don't know what it is to be a god.
Yeah, were you worshipped? Were you beloved? You know, like, did they like put you up on a pedestal? No.
And that fits so well with the ending. It just makes the ending so much more heartfelt and like so much more deserved.
Well, what happens in the ending, right? They well, actually, wait, hold on. Let's go back a little bit. The Odin fight. How do we think overall?
Satisfying? At one point I thought Freya wouldn't join the fray.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And I would have been really upset. I really thought she needs to be in this.
Yeah.
So the fact when she shows up, I'm glad now it's the three, the Tritagonists.
Right. They're all taking turns beating his ass. That little segment where you're pressing all the buttons to actually like hit Odin, it was
Yeah.
great.
Pretty cool.
I liked
Pretty
it.
cool. Yeah, I
Um,
thought it was like a good ending fight. Wasn't my favorite though. You know, as I kind of
Right.
mentioned, like I like the bigger ones. You know, I liked was Heimdall more memorable? Maybe a little bit because I really
agree.
hated him.
It
It's kind of like
wasn't-
what we've been. I was just gonna
I
quickly
agree.
say, it's kind of like what we were talking about. Like by the time that fight came around, I didn't hate Odin as much as I should have. You know, they kind
you
of did that
didn't
two-edged
hate
sword.
Odin. He killed
did
Thor.
that.
He
They
killed
did that
Thor
thing where it
and
was-
whacked through it with the Mjolnir.
He
But he was
killed
so
Brock.
nice to Atreus. He was so friendly to him throughout the game. I learned
He's
to
so
build a bit of
friendly.
a
He
bond.
must mean what he says.
He
Heimdall
killed
was the
Brock.
asshole the whole time. I wanted him out of there. I was like,
I was
okay, Thor,
ready.
you gotta go. But it wasn't like, yo, Heimdall, I swear, you're not living past this fight right here. You know, it was just like a little different. For like the ending boss, it's like it did not, I think, change my perspective on the game overall. I was just like, you know, okay, not my favorite. Didn't hit as hard as I think some of the other bosses, but still enjoyed it overall.
I think the ending with that fight really culminates in what the lesson was for the Tritagonists, as Grandmaster Hoop said earlier. They could have killed Odin,
But
and they
didn't.
did not.
It
They
was
all sealed him
Sindri.
inside of that the Jotunheim marble
The
thing.
marble. Yeah, they sold.
And
they
they'll
sealed
hold on to his soul for, oh, just kidding.
And then oh yeah, who comes in? Oh, he ain't
Sid.
living. Bam.
Damn, no hesitation. Just see
No
that.
hesitation. Sindri just comes in.
The
ruins it.
fall of Sindri.
And I think that's important because it shows you the two alternatives that could have happened with this fight. They could have went down the path of vengeance, or they could have went down the path that they ultimately took, which was they didn't forgive Odin, but they're like, we are not doing this to seek vengeance. We're doing this to protect our loved ones.
Vengeance versus justice.
Yeah.
Justice.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
this was all for justice. And
absolute
they,
justice.
no, stop.
Close.
I don't think
close.
this is Sindri exacted some absolute
And
justice.
Sindri's was
Yeah.
absolute
Oh, yeah.
justice.
Yeah.
That was like, nope, he gotta go. Bam. Done. And then he dips. He's like, all right, I helped you guys, with the assault on Asgard. Kratos
done.
led that army as the general. And yeah, he's out. He gone. And he's like, I'm not your friend. Did you guys feel for Sindri with like this hate? It's hate that he has for
It's-
everyone, and specifically Atreus.
yeah, like I feel for him because it's like he lost this is a love so deep that he has for his brother. Again, he brought him back from the dead the first time. He went to the well of the souls in Alfheim, stole like parts of his brother's soul back, to like mesh it together and bring his brother back. A taboo, and made himself hated by all of his people. He became an exile with Brock. It's like he couldn't live without Brock. And
Brock was his anchor. Yeah.
Brock was his anchor. And
Gone.
he lost Brock.
Yeah.
He lost him.
Mind you, too.
And
You
the
know,
fate
it's-
of the fate that Brock has after like his death
That's what
Oh,
I was
yeah,
gonna say.
is worse than any other fate. It's like Mimir says it. It's like a soul that is like incomplete or something doesn't go to like the well again.
It's
whatever
in
their
limbo.
afterlife.
It's in a
Yeah.
limbo
Yeah.
for all eternity, basically torture. They're in nothing. Like
Right.
it's
Right.
it's horrible. So
Right.
yeah, like
I think-
Brutal.
I think the fact too is that all this happened. Sindri went and collected 3/4. This happened in Sindri's house. Under his roof. This is really it's misguided anger, but he really needs to look at himself for it's a taboo to go bring someone back first of all, and on top of that you brought him back and you ended up not being able to protect them.
Yep.
you know
But at the same time, it's like he also says something to Atreus, and it's like, you came to me, I showed you everything. I gave you all my knowledge. I gave you and gave you and gave you, and you took and you took and you took, and now you took the last thing from me. That's how he sees it. You took my brother.
So let me ask you guys this, since we're pretty much at the end of the story.
Let me go real quick. This might be what you're talking about. The thing about Sindri, which I can't, it's kind of like makes me step back when I step back from the game. I'm just like, where are you going with this? If he ends at a worse place, hating Atreus, that's like interesting. But is that something you're going to build off in a sequel? Is this DLC perhaps?
Now see right here. And again, you have to explore the game post credits, right?
Okay.
Because similar to what God of War 2018 did, you finish the story and you get a secret ending when you come back to Kratos' house, and it teases Thor showing up with Mjolnir, and you're like, oh wow, I can't wait for this for the sequel. So
did they tease the next game?
It did tease the next game. Like literally the way in Ragnarok, the way Thor was introduced with the hammer when he like comes in, that's the same exact cutscene from God of War 2018.
Yes.
Where Kratos has the dream and he's like, who are you? And then you see the lightning come down and then he just wakes up like, oh, holy crap. Was that the future? What was that about?
Yeah.
So you get that in 2018. In this game, there is something very similar where you do a side quest. I since you haven't done it, I don't want to spoil it, but it's something
so funny is that when I finished, I was just kind of like, God of War secret ending, and I didn't find anything. There
is a secret ending, because when you do this side quest, once you finish it, like the screen fades to black and the rest of the credits start to roll. And it's not something that like, teases like, oh my God, is that Anubis falling from the sky? Who's that? It doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. That would be cool. Would be cool. But instead it addresses the characters that we left and what they're doing.
Interesting.
And it's specifically for like a funeral of a character that passed. It's Brock's funeral.
Gotcha.
And with that being Brock's funeral, certain things are addressed. So I highly recommend go out and playing that side quest and seeing how that plays out, because it does address where we lead these characters. And I think that's really important, because there's the big question of where does the series go from here?
Really big question.
What's next?
Like, will the next series focus more solely on Atreus?
Well, here's the thing with Atreus,
a more grown up, an adult Atreus.
Well, at the end, what happens, right? Atreus.
All right, beautiful ending. First of all,
go ahead, sell it, and say it right. Say the quote right.
Well, first of all, R.I.P. Freyr.
Oh yeah, Freyr died too.
We didn't really talk about Freyr as much. Freyr.
He was cool. He was cool.
He was cool. Yeah, he was cool. Not
quick flowers.
No,
but quick flowers. Yeah,
but like,
right.
Here's your rose.
He goes from being really kind of like a coward, or to a certain extent, to becoming a leader and actually dying for the cause.
He's just cocky. He's a cocky guy.
He's a cocky guy, but really, when the going gets tough, he's never there.
He was there in the end.
He was there in the end.
But in the end, he was there and he gave it all.
Yeah,
he did. Right.
But yeah, shout out to Freyr. Shout out to Angrboda. Her and Fenrir rip a portal for them to escape. I was like, damn, how are they about to escape? Wait a minute, where's Fenrir? And then there they are.
There he is. It was nice.
Whoop, bitches.
Perfect timing. Trace gets knocked out, wakes up. They're back in Midgard. You address pretty much every major character you met in the journey so far, and they have kind of a, interestingly enough, they play it off as, they're just happy that Ragnarok's over, but they're all essentially goodbyes.
Yes.
These are their last.
Like, what are you going to do next? Like, what's your next step?
Right. These are all their last moments for the time being with Atreus. So that was very nice. He sees Scavolder, whatever his name is.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Uh,
there's him. Hi. All right.
he sees Thrud and Sif, and Sif apologizes, and
That was nice. That was nice.
Thrud reinforces that they do have a friendship. Team Angrboda. I'm glad he didn't choose.
Well, Skilder likes her.
Well, I mean,
Skilder likes
Trace
her.
Did say that. He
Yeah.
was kind of
Yeah,
respectful of.
Oh, I didn't know.
Skilder.
I thought he was joking. I didn't know. Okay.
And there was a line too where like I think Mimir asked him like Atreus, do you like Thrud? And he's like, what? No, I don't like her. I'm only asking this because of I want to help her, achieve her goal. It seemed based on Atreus' answer, it felt platonic.
And it felt like he couldn't come clean about Angrboda because they decided to keep
exactly
a secret.
But he definitely was referring to Angrboda.
He was referring
sure.
because because then at that point he was vague. He would say, "What happens when you're like into someone?" And he clearly wasn't referring to Thrud.
Oh, he's never seen a girl in his life, right? That's like the first girl his age.
Yeah.
It's probably the first girl he's met, period.
There's all those random conversations where they just start talking about that, and it's like, oh, this kid.
Yeah.
Right.
It was good. It was good.
It was nice. So, but yeah, what does he do?
You see the other members of Freyr's army, like the elves are there. Lundra is there. Say goodbye to them. They toast you.
Scalabrini.
Oh, he'll
Hildesini.
Oh god.
Oh wait, is that
Hildesvini?
Oh god, yeah, he's
he's cool.
He's fine. He's fine.
I wish we'd seen him turn into a boar again. I guess not.
That would have been nice.
That would have been cool. Either way, we get the best moments with the main characters. So Mimir, I think, is first, and he's like, Mimir, you're basically my second father, and that was great. That was good.
That was nice.
He calls him a mentor. Shoot, you want to say maybe there's a quad track in this, I guess.
Yeah, Mimir's there every step of the way.
He's there every step of the way.
He gets some on the my night. My man got
with Sigurd.
Sigurd.
Sigurd grabbed that head. She's like, yeah, we're just gonna tell stories. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
What'd that tongue do?
Oh no.
Let me stop. But that was a great moment.
Right.
I think Freya, she's second to last, has a great moment as well. Just basically, reaffirming that she is now better. She doesn't seek vengeance. I
think that's what she says. She's part of the family. Like
she's
the founder of family.
And she's and it's kind of like what she feels for Atreus. It's kind of the pride a mother feels for her son.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go. I would be saying like that maybe stepmom, stepson.
Oh yeah,
maybe
it's a motherly figure. She's like, I'm proud of the man that you have become.
That that's
a motherly phrase.
Right.
And that's perfect. And for her character, she has a hole. What gets bigger the more you take away. She has a hole that was filled by Atreus.
Right.
Atreus sought her out first. That was her. That was him. Who put that idea in her head.
Exactly.
All things point back to Atreus. And then we get Angrboda.
Angrboda and Fenrir, right?
It's Angrboda and Fenrir, and it's kind of like, I'm glad you went against fate. And she's like, and she, again, there's a lot of great dialogue. She's like, I decided to write my own story, my own ending,
because she felt bound by fate too.
She did. She's like,
introduced her.
She said, this is it. I give Loki the marbles and that's it.
My story's over.
Yeah.
Right. Again, fate, big theme. Accept it, break it, or change it. She changed it because of Atreus.
Yep.
His decisions move this story along. And then she points out, there's your father right there.
Big Daddy.
And I think Kratos knew what was about to come.
Yeah,
I think he was mentally ready. But now I think nobody was ready for this. There was one last mural from Faye.
Right.
And help me out. Faye wrote this to defy the prophecy that the other giants prophesized.
I can't remember. I think that's the original mural, like on the back. That's like shows like Kratos falling or dying, you know. But you can look at the drawing. The drawing looks different of Kratos. I think Faye drew over it to try to change Kratos' fate, where it looks like he's being honored and like kind of revered, and kind of exactly what
basically
Odin.
Kratos becomes the new All-Father to a certain.
Well, he becomes a benevolent.
He becomes like the new
Right.
All-Father in the way that like everyone adores him. You know, like the benevolent.
Right.
He finally becomes the benevolent god that is adored and not feared.
And
Right.
adored for doing well and helping people. Which
Exactly.
has kind of been his
For
goal
doing the right thing.
coming to Ragnarok.
And I mean, you see it in his actions when he sees that mural. I mean, the guy can barely stand up. He's just like, he's so struck with emotion. I mean, Christopher Judge is just so great as Kratos. I never want him to be recasted at all for a Kratos character. But yeah, no,
he's
it's
fantastic.
he is. And so yeah, he sees that, but then that moment happens after Atreus and Kratos have their moment.
Well, there's two mirrors. There's one on the front and there's one on the back. They look at the one on the front together and they realize, they did not ever see this because Faye wanted them to kind of test the limits of breaking and going against fate. This was always their predestined fate, but they didn't know of it, so they did it. They did what was necessary and it came true. That was always the
worked
thing.
out.
Yeah, it worked out because Kratos was like, we do what is necessary, not because it is written.
I love it.
Great line.
And it turned out it was written, but it was like
they didn't know it was written.
They looked at the other one, which they were trying to not go by. So
right. Exactly.
It still works. Yeah, it still works. And so then we have Atreus in his newfound kind of foundation. I am Loki of Jotunnar. There are other giants out there who their souls are locked in these marbles. We have a handful of them. I have to go find them, Father. It's like I have to do this, as this is who I am, and perfect culmination. There's no questions asked by Kratos. There's no hesitation.
I mean, it's all instinct, all gut feeling,
all instinct,
all heart.
Right.
Yeah, and he says, "Go ahead, you gotta go. You gotta do this." And you see Kratos hug Atreus more in this game than ever in the first one.
Easily.
And each one is so emotionally like gut-wrenching. Oh my God.
I felt it each time he did it.
Oh,
every single time.
Man, I cried. I definitely cried.
Ooh, it got you there, huh?
Well, what finally got me was Loki will go, but Atreus remains. That is Kratos finally accepting that his son is also Loki.
Right.
Pretty fire. It's pretty good.
And he says, remember our promise. When I'm not there, you think of me and I'll do the same.
Beautiful.
And you watch Kratos. It's from Kratos' perspective. You watch him go.
So good.
Yep.
So good. Peak. I don't think you could have done any other ending better than how you left it off there. With this game. It was perfect.
It was perfect. Yeah.
It was literally perfect. And then I guess the question from here is, what's next? I mean, they leave the door pretty open.
So
there's other pantheons out there. They got Egyptian.
Are you thinking this gen, next gen? Are you thinking Santa Monica Studios does a different game before returning immediately to God of War.
Well, see, here's the thing. From a narrative perspective, I would like to think Santa Monica Studios has the artistic integrity to be like, we did really good with God of War. Let's try something a little different next time. Like, let's do a new type of game. But money talks. This game was the most sold, the biggest launch of any first-party IP of Sony ever in history. Not just on the PS5, not just on the PS4, in history of Sony's life cycle with the PlayStation. They're gonna make another game, like they have to. And Sony's gonna literally get the rod and be like, "You're making another God
they
of
can
War."
go exploring different pantheons with the premise like Loki is looking for the giants. We don't know where the fuck the giants are.
We don't know where they ended up. And again,
where they ended up, they could have ended up in other pantheons, other like realms or universes, times, whatever you want to call it.
Do you want Loki to be the next lead?
Yeah,
and you want the game to be called God of Mischief?
Ooh, they could do
interesting.
And like, I wouldn't be surprised if Kratos, of course, like features, because you can't kind of like take Kratos fully out of the equation.
He's the mascot. He's the flagship.
He's the mascot. But again, it would be more Atreus's story. Like this was already like Atreus's story, but kind of like balanced out with Kratos. And Kratos is just there again, like provide support. I don't know, but that's like one way they can kind of go like go into like, I don't know, the Shinto gods like Japan, Egypt, if you want to go through there.
And these are pantheons that are like not even speculated. Like it's confirmed these things exist in God of War. Like there is an Egyptian pantheon, there is a Celtic pantheon. So there's
different pantheons of different gods. So just like they have so much lore to explore with regards to that. And like what I was telling you with regards to like Excalibur, like they already do make so many other references. And like I was checking out, I sent you guys the link, and it's like it says it is Arthurian legend. It references Nimue.
Okay.
They literally mentioned Nimue. That alone is like, what? Okay. So there you go. There's so much stuff that they can just like explore. Now, how is it gonna tie in with the story as it is now? That remains to be seen. But they can use the giants. Loki's on a quest to find the lost giants. The lost giants could be anywhere.
Yeah,
they're not telling you they're like only in the 9 rounds. They could be anywhere.
Go ahead, Dr.
All I was gonna say was I can buy a game just like I can be sold on the idea of Atreus being the main character of the game in terms of, I mean, they literally showed us fleshed out combat where you can't even play as Atreus anymore. Like once he leaves, that's it. If you wanted to play as him, it's over. Go restart the game.
Replay the game, yeah.
So I feel like that was kind of like Santa Monica's tease and saying like, hey, maybe if you guys like this, maybe we might do a full game on this. If you're into it.
Kind of felt like these two games were Kratos handing off the baton. It felt like this was the end of his adventure.
On the torch. Right.
He's like has a son now. He's visually older. He's had his adventures. He's really reflective. So in a way, it feels like storytelling wise, the next logical move is to give Atreus the lead. But money talks. God of War talks.
Gotta have the mascot.
Let me say,
and again, like Kratos is an immortal god.
Right.
Kratos is over 3,000 years old in this game.
Yeah,
like thousands of years have passed since God of War 3. So it's not really that far-fetched to jump like really, really far front and let get like another Kratos story or something like that. Again, like a lot can happen in 2,000 years.
Let me say this from a story perspective. It would be very great to play as Kratos again from the father who just let his son go off into the world, and watch him balance with that idea of not knowing what his son is doing, whether his son is safe, all the while. I mean, each God of War game deals with, Kratos going to another pantheon, but they could easily do what Kratos did. Kratos is from a pantheon and, inserts himself into the Norse, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Why can't other pantheons come to here?
Oh, they come to him instead of
yes,
him venturing out.
Let's put that into the atmosphere, because
now Kratos, Kratos has a new role now.
Right.
Because Kratos, he's no longer his son has left, his son has become his own person. Kratos, he's still a father, but he's not really, caring for his child anymore. But he isn't hell-bent on revenge as he was in previous games. We have a Kratos and now he has the role really as the protector. Kratos right now is the protector of the realms, almost like the new All-Father, quote unquote. And if we were to see, these new pantheons come in, that's like another layer to explore. Because now you're not only fighting for yourself and your son, your immediate family. To a certain point, you're fighting now you have all these people look up to you. For the first time in your life, people look up to you, their expectations on you. You are the main man. You're not being puppeteered by anyone. You are the main man.
Right.
And it's that is something that he has never experienced. And seeing let's say other gods come in a pantheon, taking advantage of what happened with Ragnarok, that Asgard is done, the Aesir are weakened, all this kind of stuff. It's maybe war among pantheons, but maybe they're always kept themselves in check, because just mutually assured destruction, and now one is weak, so let me just come and conquer.
It could be an expansion effort.
Let me just conquer this pantheon's territory.
We just need new territory that this game took us in new territory. But dare I say, I feel I wouldn't want to play an Atreus solo game.
You would not want to play.
I would prefer. I think their stories just really work when they coincide with one another.
Oh, so you want both still?
Yeah, I want. They can run parallel to one another.
Okay.
And then eventually maybe in the middle, have a reunion of sorts in the game. Okay. But I would love to see again kind of them doing as what they said, when they are not present with one another, but now they're kind of worlds apart though. How does that really look? And will they ever reunite? I would love to see that story.
And also
because ain't nobody going anywhere. Freya, Mimir, this is a squad. In any future games, if we tackle any other pantheons, unless they jump a bunch of years and don't show us what happened in between, there's no reason why I don't see these other characters coming along for the ride. God of War 3 ended with just Kratos, so it makes sense he came over here alone.
Right.
He's got a family.
Kratos, for the first time in his life, has people he cares about. He has a family. He has friends. He has people that look up to him, not only because, you're the strong warrior. No, it's because you're the protector.
And that's I like where we leave off in there. Yeah. It's a good feeling. It's not pessimistic like how God of War 3 was oh great, he got his revenge.
No, but God of War 3 God of War 3 was pessimistic, but to a certain extent kind of positive.
Right. That was the purpose of God of War 3. You were on board for his vengeance. You're all right, screw everyone.
But
I'll just get this guy.
He does release hope into the world.
Right.
And that is something that was totally against his character. If you were thinking he's hellbound on vengeance, and then out of nowhere, he kind of comes to terms with all the things that he's done. But yeah, like there's so much that they can really do going forward. And again, and let's say if it doesn't happen right after this game, again, 2,000 years. A lot can happen. A lot can happen in 2,000 years.
I'm okay with them kind of just sitting on it, letting this simmer for a bit, and then maybe doing an immediate story afterwards or 2,000 years later.
Could it be an Atreus Kratos war? I don't know. Nah, I'm just kidding.
No.
That would make no sense. But
well, that being said, I think we're like at the tail end of this where we kind of just we kind of went through everything on why we enjoyed the game. Is this anyone's game of the year? Like, nope. This is mine.
Hands down.
I haven't played the GOAT, Elden Ring.
No, and as a person who played Elden Ring, and I freaking adored Elden Ring. Elden Ring is one of the best games I've ever played. This one's up there. Hit harder. Like, this is, I can honestly, for me, this is possibly like one of the best, if not the best game I've ever played. Like the way I felt, how invested, and how I felt once it ended. It was like such a wonderful experience. I can't find anything wrong with the game.
It was.
I freaking love Elden Ring, and you all know how much I love Elden Ring.
Yes, we know.
And it's like, for me to say this,
it's a lot. I mean, like, Ragnarok was a game that had a lot of hype going into it, like we said earlier, and I feel like it delivered on everything. One thing, because again, I don't want to just sing universal praise on the game. I feel like there's some things where I'm like, you could have done something different. Like, for example, one of the things I wish they did was, like, the executions with the monsters. Some of them are copy and pasted from the previous game. One cool thing they could have done was maybe, depending on the weapon you used, it would have switched up the animation. So, like, maybe you execute with the Blades of Chaos, execute with the Draupnir Spear. But again, it's such a minor grievance. It's hard to find really anything wrong with the game. I feel like 2018 and Ragnarok did things so differently because, like, 2018 had the benefit of, this is a new adventure, new combat, new characters, and it had the wow factor to introduce you to this new mythos and the surprise with the Blades of Chaos, like Hooper TV was saying earlier. I felt like Ragnarok didn't have a moment like that where you found something, you're like, oh my God, this changes everything, like the Blades of Chaos did.
Yeah.
This one didn't have it. That's not saying it's bad, but it was one thing that I would say I was expecting, and it didn't happen for me in Ragnarok. Despite that, game of the year, it's up there with one of the best games I've ever played, easily, 100%.
Yeah, I think I go game of the year too. I put like 40 hours into Elden Ring, kind of fell off around the Witch School. It's a great game. It's like a masterclass, I think, in kind of game design, just like how much they put into the world building, how much they put into kind of like the customization aspect of it. It's really out of this world. And so I think, like, logically, I'm more impressed by what Elden Ring was able to accomplish. But I think in my heart of hearts, in my, like, if I turn off the logic side of my brain, I'm just like, what did I enjoy more? What what made me want to, like, break out another bottle of wine and, like, sip another glass on, like, night 4 playing it? And, like, was blown away by certain aspects and certain choices, Santa Monica Studios made. It's this, it's Ragnarok. I think it's definitely between Elden Ring and Ragnarok, in my opinion. I played Horizon, just not in the conversation. I think that's up for game of the year.
I love Horizon. But it just doesn't hold a candle.
Yeah, I just gotta say,
Legends Arceus was in it, but like, and I liked Legends Arceus, but like that.
Oh, the Pokemon game.
Yeah, that was nowhere near Ragnarok levels, despite being fun.
Yeah.
I just gotta say that Horizon has the horrible luck of, like, both games, like, because really both Horizon games are really good games. They're always released in the same year. as a groundbreaking game.
Weeks away too. Not even like same year.
Yeah.
Weeks away.
Horizon Zero Dawn was Breath of the Wild, and Horizon Horizon Forbidden West was Elden Ring. So
Elden Ring, and like in the same year,
and then
God of War
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like when it comes to like it's between Elden Ring and Ragnarok for me. Like Elden Ring is just like Elden Ring is massive. Like Elden Ring is a world. It is an absolute world.
Let's not make this about Elden Ring.
Oh yeah, but I think the reason I pick Ragnarok is it's just again, it's like it's such a personal game. Like it's a very story driven, and it's just like it not only wows you in the like how it looks, you know, because Ragnarok is also pretty big, the freaking game, but it's
you
just
get to explore
like,
all the 9 realms. Finally.
it's also, you know, that you feel attached to the characters in the game. Elden Ring doesn't do that because the way Elden Ring is made is not for that. Elden Ring, it has like lore and all that, but it's like you're this tarnished
Right.
that go
Right.
that go up and you're the Elden Lord. Is that
right?
You don't feel attached to anyone.
This one had a narrative where it kind of like locks you in and doesn't
This
hold
one
your
pulls-
hand, but like
it pulls at your heartstrings.
Right,
This one pulls at
right.
your not only is it stunning, it's fun as hell, it's very rewarding, but it also pulls at your heartstrings. And that is something that Elden Ring does not do because it's not made for that. And like I totally respect that. But yeah, God of War for me, game
of the year.
Game of the year.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Grandmaster, your game of the year, or is it Arkham Knight again? Oh, Gotham Knights.
I didn't play Gotham Knights. Thank you very much. I
Wait.
never will.
I'm pretty sure the
never-
game of the year is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
I would not
Ooh.
give that game of the year. But granted, I mean, I don't play many games in a year.
But I do play Arkham.
I started Horizon Forbidden West.
You started it.
Yeah, and I got maybe like 2/4, I guess halfway through. But like, you know,
okay.
and I played Pokemon Scarlet. I don't think I played any other or had any other major purchases this year. But when it comes down to it, like as Dr. Mondo says, it's really the story of God of War that keeps you going. For example, you know, in Horizon, the story has so many breaks and there's so much free roaming that you can, you know, do and take the story in whatever direction. Same thing with Pokemon is that it's hard to stay kind of focused in on the main central plot of the story. And just God of War just has always excelled in its story. There's not a single God of War entry that, I mean, I've only played the main entries.
Well, that like the other, like the ones that aren't the main titles.
This is my turn. This is my turn. None of them have ever deterred, I feel, story-wise. They keep you engaged, and it is just peak video game cinematic. And I think that's what I look for when I play a game, is that, you know, the time taken for these pure moments of cinematicness. Like my background was Skull and Hati.
That was nice.
That was
I like
such
that.
a great
I freaking
scene.
love those scenes when you just like, and everything just changes from
right.
nice.
Nice.
This game just does everything right. I mean, does the combat and does the gameplay differ from the previous entry as much? No, it doesn't.
It feels overly familiar.
It sure does. And I said that in the beginning. Until you become Atreus, it felt more or less the same game. But it's the story that keeps you going. They excel in the story. They excelled with their casting. Everybody does a superb job here.
Everyone gets flowers.
The music also helps a great deal.
Can you sing the song now?
I know the Ragnarok song.
Go ahead. Okay, we'll say it for the end. We'll let you lead.
I also know the soundtrack song of Blood Upon the Snow by Hozier. I've been playing that on repeat lately.
I need to listen to that one.
That's the song that plays over the credits.
Oh,
Blood upon the
yes,
snow.
yes, the one with actual lyrics.
Dude,
Yes.
it's so good.
I'm gonna add it to my Spotify now.
Oh, it's so good. Hosier one, if
Nice.
you know Hosier.
Wait,
Okay,
Blood
okay.
Upon the Snow.
Blood upon the snow.
Blood upon the
But yeah,
snow.
this game just does everything right, and I put all chips in when it comes to the next entry of God of War. I'm in there. Yeah, they managed to do everything right. Like you said, Dr. Jace, I can't find anything really to complain about.
Nothing significant. Nothing
no.
significant
No.
to deter.
None at all.
Fantastic game through and through. On the same level as God of War 2018. I can't wait for the next one, whenever the hell that is. It might be this gen. Honestly,
I'm gonna guess this gen. I'm saying this gen.
I think there's one more, maybe one more.
I think
at
they
the tail
said-
end. At the tail
Yeah,
end.
tail end maybe.
If they were to make another God of War game from like the last thing I read, I think it would take like 5 to 6 years, something like that.
I
That's
believe
fine.
It. I believe it. Take your time.
Okay, waiting. Yeah.
Oh no,
Take
no.
your
Like
time.
I'm gonna buy it like right out of
Easily.
Easily.
I never buy games day one. I never do it. I always wait for like a sale or a Black Friday sale. God of War Ragnarok was like a commitment where I'm like, I'm getting it day one.
Like
$70 is gonna hit, but I have to play it. Don't regret it at all. Not even a small percentage of doubt. So I'd pay 70 again to experience it for the first time again. It was that good.
Yep.
Fantastic. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up our thoughts on God of War Ragnarok. I mean, you guys have been hearing us. We've been singing the game's praise. If you haven't played it yet, why the hell did you listen to this pod? Or maybe you just wanted to hear the story, get a taste for it, and then play it yourself. Maybe you're a gameplay fanatic. Maybe the gameplay will sell you instead. And the gameplay is really good too. So really fun. So check out God of War Ragnarok. It's $70 right now. Maybe it'll go on sale for Christmas.
And if you already finished the game, but say like, hell, why shouldn't I play because I already finished it? We, I think, gave you quite a few reasons for you to continue playing the game.
Play the post game. Play the post game.
It's worth it.
Very, very worth it. Very, very worth it. But yeah, I say that wraps up our thoughts here on God of War Ragnarok. If you guys want to give us a listen, we're on all your social media podcast listening stations, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at the Yonko Table. You guys could have also watched this live as we streamed it on Twitch at DrJaceAttorney. We might do some endgame content on there, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We're on Sonic Frontiers right now, but God of War Ragnarok.
Ew.
It's good, man. Leave me alone. I like it. But we might touch on some endgame content with God of War Ragnarok. So check that out if you want to see us play alive. And yeah, I would say that wraps up our thoughts on God of War Ragnarok. I'm your Yonko host, Dr. DrJaceAttorney, fellow Yonko Grandmaster Hoop, Admiral Hooper TV, and Supernova Dr. Mondo. Grandmaster Hoop, do you want to lead us out with the new theme song that you finally learned with Ragnarok?
I don't know the language, but I'm gonna try my best.
That's okay, make it up.
Go Starty, the sun hopes, the sun goes down deep, the sun, and the sun down.